Uh, well, fuck PlayStation. That's how I've been.
We're gonna
Uh,
get to that.
I
Oh my
know,
God.
but
Shut up
he,
now.
he asked me how I felt, and that is what my week has been. Um, I've been playing, yeah, pretty much just Elliot, the Adventures of Elliot. I'm pretty
Mm-hmm.
close to the end. I've finished the first two endings, so I'm now doing the final one. Yeah, loving it. Like it's one of those games that once you get into it, like you're just gonna play it nonstop and just wanna keep on playing and losing sleep until you finished it. Um, yeah, absolutely amazing. So definitely like the latter. I mean, not gonna spoil anything, but like the latter parts of the game and the story sort of picks up and the revelations come in that they kind of hit hard. Like I love it. Um, and yeah, I mean, it's just fun to play. You know, the abilities you get from Faye, especially once you get the final abilities, pretty sweet when you're fighting bosses and you just do double damage. Um, and yeah, now just wrapping up, and then I'll yeah see what else can play until the onslaught begins. That's yeah the latter half of this year. And yeah, I asked what's my most anticipated game of the year. Still is a good question.
Well, not it doesn't have to be your most, but like I said, five. My goal was five, but if you don't
Oh,
have
okay.
five, you can just say three or whatever. I said five because I feel like there's a lot coming up that everybody's looking forward to.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
you can
yeah.
just give five. It doesn't have to be in order.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, of course, Wolverine. That's definitely top of my list. Control 2, Castlevania. I know that I'm going to be playing that in October. Um, uh, yeah, probably GTA as well, and see if I can find a fifth one. Oh yeah, yeah, Resonant, the Plague Tale spin-off. I'm also looking forward to that one.
Absolutely.
So yeah, those are my games.
Cool. Morgan, how are you, ma'am? And what have you been playing? And what are your five most anticipated titles for the rest of the year?
Well, similar sentiment to Weeb. I'm in a kind of a fuck PlayStation mood right now. But also in similar fashion, as per every week, me and we probably end up playing the same thing half the time. I'm also playing the Adventures of Elliot. I finished it as far as like the first ending, the quote unquote bad ending. So now I'm going back because I think there's three endings for this game. So now I'm going back trying to get all three because I want to plat this game. Hopefully by the end of the week. But I really enjoyed it. There's more obviously more story content to it. The first playthrough I got, like I said, the bad ending, and this next playthrough requires like more side missions and things like that. I will say that final boss was easy as hell. Like I was just like,
Yeah,
that's kind of why I didn't think it ended. I thought that was like the first stage or something, and then it was over, and I was like, oh, okay. I mean, that's cool, no problem. But other than that, though, really good game, beautiful as always. Team Asano, one of my favorites. Uh, the writing's great. I really love Elliot as a character. I really enjoy the different weapons that you can get and just the combat in general. I really liked it. I'm really glad I got to play the demo because I was on the fence about playing this game, but I am really enjoying my time with it. And hopefully I can beat it before the week's up. But as far as my next five or top five or whatever games for the rest of the year,
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy because I have more than five.
Well, yeah, that's why I
I'm
gave
like,
everybody five. Because if I said three,
um,
everybody'd be like, I got too many.
yeah, I got way more than five. Control Resonant,
I mean, just rapid fire that shit.
uh,
Go crazy.
Plague's Tale Requiem, Assassin's Creed, Black Flag, GTA 6, Wolverine, Final Fantasy Resonance,
Oh, hell yeah.
Blood of the Dawn Walker, uh, Star Wars. Um, shit, what was the
Zero
name of the Star
Company.
Wars game? Yeah, Zero Company, thank you. Um, that may be as far as I can think
At least as
of.
far as you can
There's
remember.
there's a lot more. There's definitely a few indie games I'm trying to play too that I can't recall the name of, that are coming out in August, I believe. But yeah, there's a whole lot of games that I'm looking forward to. But yeah, obviously Assassin's Creed Black Flag is the next one because that comes out in like 5 days.
Yeah,
Comes out on the
just a couple
9th.
days.
So I'm ready for that. So ready for that. My favorite Assassin's Creed. One of my favorite games, to be honest. But yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Absolutely. Viper, welcome back to the show, my friend. How are you, and what have you been playing, and what are your top five most anticipated games of 2026?
Yes, I'm slithering back in. It's good to be back. It's been a minute. So the games that I've been playing, right now, well, since my last visit here, I played a game named Aerial Heart, which is it's like a Zelda type PlayStation game, for PS5, and I almost platinumed it, but there's one trophy that says "Do not kill the rodents," which the little brown rats running around. I have played this thing 3 times, not killing a rodent. It did not give me the platinum. I'm pissed. But that was one of the games I played. I'm at 90% right now. Then Pragmata, of course, man, I did all the sex positions with Pragmata. Up, down, left, right. Platinum is done.
Yeah.
I did a run. I did a run using the Luma cannon only. I did a run using the jackhammer only. I did a run without using
Damn.
the Luma or the jackhammer. I love that game top to bottom.
Oh yeah,
I
you
hope
were
they
going
have a
ham.
second part coming out. Yeah. I also played Lunar Remaster Collection, platinum that. Forgot that there are some challenging JRPGs out there where you can't overlevel. You will be healing a lot from the get go. You will not be mastering the game till close to 3/4 over, so that's done. And right now I'm playing Monster Hunter Stories. Uh, the first one. I'm going to play all three, but I'm playing the first one right now. It's a
Okay.
little janky because it's old, and
Yeah,
but
it's
it's
originally
okay
like
so
a
far.
3DS title, so
Yeah. So um, most anticipated. Now, if you're talking about just strictly this year,
yeah, just
because
for
I
what's left.
because my honorable mention is P4R, but that's next year, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
not counting that. Control Resonant, of course. Uh, a lot of this may surprise some people. Fable, I'm actually looking forward to play that. Uh,
Okay.
mm, I do have Grand Theft Auto 6 pre-ordered. That might be a day 20 instead of a day 1, but I am going to play that. Wolverine and of course Resonance.
Okay. Absolutely.
Hold on, we could have said next year as well.
No,
Yeah,
Oh no,
because
he just
Fable is
no,
got
no, no, no.
delayed.
No,
Okay.
I only mentioned P4 Revival because that is my top one, but that's next year.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, when he said Fable was originally slated for 2026, but
Oh.
he might have missed that. It
Oh
got
shit, they got
delayed.
delayed. Oh
Yeah,
no.
see, he didn't
Oh
know.
shit,
See,
P20. Damn.
I
I didn't
figured
see
what it
that.
was
Oh,
already.
damn.
Yeah,
I'm so pissed.
it got
All
Where
delayed.
you
right.
living, Viper?
But yeah,
Damn, I'm usually on top of that kind of shit. That's my fault.
hey man, no, it's all good, man. Hey, look, you said what you were anticipating, and it was originally 2026, so that's all good. Um,
Gotcha.
Omar, how are you, sir? And what have you been playing? And your top five most anticipated for the rest of the year?
Oh, I'm now first. Okay, interesting. So first of all, I'm with Weeb and Morgan for PlayStation. Um, I'm fine. If you guys can hear that, because I'm using my old mic, I move back to my place. I have my internet back. Thank you very much. And because of that, I started Taros or Tairos, whatever you want to call it. And it's been a phenomenal journey so far. I'm at the third biome, however you want to call that. And yeah, I want to sit down with people that played both Taros and Returnal because I have some opinions about the game. Welcome to the difficulty and stuff like that. But yeah, that's about it when it comes to gaming. Now, for my top 5 anticipated. Like Morgan, I have more than 5. We've mentioned a few. Castlevania, new Castlevania, Metroidvania. I mean, yeah. Redundant, I know. Another Noctis, I meant Lucas. Hopefully it's gonna come out this year. Hopefully. Um, what you call it? Control 2. Blood on the Dawnwalker. Game I'm super excited about. Nobody mentioned is Fatal Blade Zero. I'm so stoked for that game. And then Wolverine, of course. And lastly but not least is Final Fantasy Renaissance. That's about it for me.
Cool. And then today joining us as a special guest, my man Will 777JP, the man that often completes the most games on my friends list by far. Most of you guys know him. He typically needs no introduction, but I'm gonna give him one anyway. But yeah, man, how are you? What have you been playing? And what are your most anticipated games for the rest of 2026, good sir?
Yo, what is up, gamers? Thank you so much, Nate, the whole Otter Player Podcast, for inviting me today. I'm super excited. I changed my whole life around today for y'all. Like, you may not believe me, but I wanted to make sure that I'm here to join today and talk these topics. But I'm excited. Anyways, what I've been playing is I just beat Adventures of Elliot. I originally got the what I call the bad ending at
Mm-hmm.
first, and I was like, this can't be it. This cannot be it. Mind you, I'm not like a JRPG fan, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So I immediately went to the Googles and found out that there's three different type of endings, and I went ahead and I did the good ending. The only reason I haven't done kind of like the middle ending is because that's easy. Just go fight the boss and finish it off in a special way, and I'll be done. But I loved
Okay.
it. It's honestly, it's my game of the year as of now. Of course, my game of the year changes every time I play a new game. Like it was
Right.
Requiem, then it was Pragmata, and now it's Elliot. All right. So when I play
That's
another
high
one, it'll
praise.
probably change. But my top 5 games that I'm looking forward to the most. Now, I'm not picking out of everything. I'm only picking out of things that have a physical copy coming out. So if I miss something, it's not because I don't want to play it, it's because there's no physical. So I'll wait till there is a physical, if a physical ever comes.
Okay.
And the very first one is Ace Combat 8. Like that is the game right there that if I just got, fuck the rest. So that's the one. Next, I'm looking forward to The Binding of Isaac Repentance, which is
Oh?
coming out physically in September. And I can't wait for that one. That one's a
For
Switch
which
2
console?
physical. Switch 2.
Oh, okay.
So that one is I'm highly looking forward to. I think that's already out digitally, but I don't have it. I've never played it, so I'm looking forward to it. Another one that's coming out next week that I'm really looking forward to is Echoes of Aincrad. So, Sword Online game, I've been playing a little bit of Fatal Bullet, and just the whole universe is impressive to me. I love games that, expand on the universe and give you a cool little twist on the universe and the world and the characters. And I've been learning this in regards to JRPGs just because I avoided them for actually my whole gaming life. I avoided JRPGs, and it wasn't until I started watching anime a couple weeks ago where anime taught me patience. Because you'll go a whole season of nothing, and all of a sudden you get the good shit happens in the last 5 minutes of an anime.
The
So I
payoff,
kind of took
yeah.
the payoff. So I took that approach, and now I'm playing a game called Tokyo Xanadu EX.
Okay. You
I'm
went you
loving
went
it.
you went deep JRPG.
Bro, not
Yeah, I
only did I
heard
go
about that
deep,
one. Yeah.
not only did I
Yeah.
go deep, but check out not the last video that came out today, but the video before that. In the month of June alone, I bought like 20 something JRPG titles.
Okay.
Like I bought
I
Persona
played that. That's a
Tactica.
nice one.
Oh,
Respect.
Like
proud of
I
Will.
went I went hard on JR Sword and Fairy Collector's Edition. I mean, I went crazy in the month of June. In
Damn.
the month of
Yeah,
June.
Oh yeah,
I'm
Sword
Yeah,
is
gonna have
yeah.
to go
very
back and check.
phenomenal. It's a
Hey,
manhwa,
hey.
but
Let me
yeah.
let me say, don't play Sword and Fairy 6. Don't
Oh
touch it.
yeah, he's
Don't think about it.
traumatized by that.
I
That
heard
is
that.
the most. That is the most buggiest game alive. You could play
Oh,
it at your own risk. Play it at your own risk. I'll tell you that.
I mean, I'll get to it
you.
eventually. I mean, but right now I got
I
Sword and
don't
Fairy.
recommend it. You were not here when me and Viper we were talking about that yet, and he literally experienced hell on earth with that game. Trust me, you
Yeah,
know
I
why
heard
that
that,
game.
man. Yeah, but I'm getting like I'm not a JRPG guy, right? I think Expedition 33 was my first turn-based game, or I'm not a big turn-based guy. So Expedition 33 was the very first one that I actually beat, and I learned that because the thing with JRPGs is sometimes they take a while for you to get to like the action and shit. And
Absolutely.
me being so American, where you're like, oh, if it doesn't bring me in the first 10 minutes, fuck it, right? But as I get older and I'm playing games like Death Stranding 2, which took me like 5 or 6 times of restarting that game to finally click,
Ooh,
and now the anime stuff, I'm giving it the patience it deserves, and the payoff is way bigger than I thought it would be. So I'm like going through a second phase of, or maybe a third phase or fourth phase, I don't know, in my gaming life, where I'm just like falling in love with gaming even deeper. Not that I didn't care for it, but it's crazy how I feel right now with gaming. So even like my top five, which Sword Art Online, I would have never been naming that game in my top five,
Yeah.
right? But it's there for a reason. Now, getting a little bit more what's that popular? Another game that I'm looking forward to this year is Clive Baker's Hellraiser Revival. So that's coming out in October, I think it is. I pre-ordered the collector's edition about a year and a half ago
Oh wow.
because that's just what you have to do with physical games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of them, and we'll get into that when we get into the physicals.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm super hyped for that one is because it is one of the first real adult mature games that I've seen that's releasing in modern console gen in a long time, where not only does it have mod or adult themes but nudity, and it's got the whole 9 yards, right? So I
Yeah.
want to see how PlayStation reacts to this game being out there. And what's that for? And another one is, I mentioned it in the pre-show, is Kyoto Xanadu, which is the sequel to Tokyo Xanadu, which I came in at the perfect time because Falcom has been delaying to make this game for so many years because they've been focusing on the what is
On
it,
the
Tail
trail,
series and
the
Eve
trail
series.
series. Yeah.
So I came in perfectly. The only problem with Kyoto Xanadu, and I'm kind of cheating a little bit, but maybe not, is the game releases July 16th in Japan only. So I'm gonna wait off, and they already confirmed that it's coming to the West. They're working with their publishers to get the English subtitles in there, but we don't have a date yet. So if I don't hear anything in the next couple months, I'm just gonna have to get the Japanese version and fucking deal with the story and Google shit because I don't want Falcom to say, "Well, PlayStation no more physical. Fuck it, we're not gonna do." I don't think they'll do that, but you just never know. So I'll just pull the trigger and get the Japanese version of the game. And the reason I say I'm cheating is because even though it's coming out next month, the actual English version won't be coming to the West until, I don't know, late 2026, early 2027. Maybe you guys can tell me, who've been playing JRPGs for a long time, how long does it normally take Falcom to release it in the West? I don't know.
I
Yeah.
mean, most of the time they're a few games behind, but it's been filling up now.
Yeah. Falcom has almost been simultaneous. As far
Mhm.
as their tails, the tail series, that's been their goal. But like I was
Yeah.
saying, Xanadu. That's why I said you went deep because Xanadu, even for them, is like their tertiary series. Like it's like their third series.
Yeah.
So like you said, East and Tails get the main line, but yeah,
Yeah, but
I think that's a big thing.
East doesn't release simultaneously. That takes a year or
I
more.
Oh, so there you go.
I have a
Yeah.
game for you. I recommend a game for you that it's absolutely mature. And I'm not talking about Unity, but rather blood, gore, and all that jazz. It's called Death and Request. Look it up.
Death and request. I will put that on my note. Because I have, shout out to all my subscribers to my channel, man. These dudes are gamers for real. We just hit 4,500 today subscribers, so we're growing fast. And I
Congratulations.
have, thank you. I have so many people recommending games, and I love it because I'm getting introduced to a whole new world, a whole new genre that I've never really played, and there's so many bangers in there that it's just excited me all over again. But What's the name of that game again? Death and what?
Death and Request.
Death and
Death and
Request.
Request. All right,
I
cool.
will let you know
And
on Twitter.
there's 2 parts too. There's a 1 and a 2. So
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we'll just get both. Easy, simple.
sounds like me.
Yeah, I'm a
I
gamer
got
for real.
other
I
games
game.
I
I
can
game.
recommend you, but we'll talk later afterwards.
All right, cool.
And yeah, those are my top 5.
Yeah, man. Well, welcome to the JRPG realm and anime. I have given you crap about that for years, and I
Mm-hmm.
heard your story about finally starting that. So, that's why I thought it was funny when you said Sword Art, because Sword Art has like a whole thing in the anime community. You got your haters and you got your people that love it. So that's a whole one for you to get into when you get into that.
Well,
For
the thing that's
sure.
been tripping me out about these games is instead of looking at animes and then seeing if they have a game, I see the game and then look up if they have an anime. And the thing I've been coming across is the animes are like they could be on Crunchyroll, they could not be, they could be on Amazon, they could not be, they could be just taken off completely. So you're like, where the fuck can I watch this shit at? You know what I mean? So that's starting to become a frustration for me.
So that's why that's a big thing in the anime community, and why most of us maintain an underground website. So even if you pay for it, like you have Crunchyroll or something, you maintain an
Hmm.
underground website, because one will have season 2 but not season 1, or they'll have season
Yeah.
3 and not the rest of it, or like you said. So now you're experiencing that. So trust me, I'll hook that up for you later, off air. I got you covered on that. So you'll have no more
Fire.
problems watching whatever anime you want.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, that's what's up. um yeah, as for myself, um yeah, just been trying to clean up some of the games I've already started. Like I said, working on so many right now. The main one is definitely Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, with the 60 frames per second and 4K patch. Just pushing through that. I wanted to experience that, as I've played the rest of them, and wanted to see what so many people like about the Definitive Edition. I have owned Xenoblade on some of the prior consoles, but never really got that far into it. I'm really someone who enjoys some of the latter ones in the series, but it's still something I want to complete. I kind of have under my belt, just to see where the series started and how much it's grown. Um, then I'm also playing 007, and I'm also finishing up Super Robot Wars Y, which I've been working on for a while, because honestly, it gets pretty tough when you get to the end. There's some really, really tough uh, parameters to complete some of the levels, even on like the regular difficulty. They really kind of ramp it up, and it's definitely kind of crazy. Um, but yeah, those are the main ones I've been playing. Still definitely been playing more, but it's just been all over the place. Like you said, Morgan's definitely been doing a better job beating my ass when it comes to actually completing all her games. So she
I mean, as long as you know,
yeah,
as long as you recognize,
I know.
that's all that matters.
I gave you your name recently. I said I've been calling you the Platinum Queen. You've been on a roll, so I can't be mad. I got to just step it up. So, but yeah. As for me, top 5 most anticipated for the rest of the year, um, definitely Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Star Wars Zero Company, um, Final Fantasy Resonance, Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, which I have pre-ordered the collector's edition for about 5 minutes after it went live. I don't play when it comes to Fire Emblem. I don't miss no Fire Emblem. I don't miss nothing about Fire Emblem. So yeah, I'm not playing when it comes to that game. That's probably my number one most anticipated for the rest of the year. And obviously everybody knows I'm anticipating GTA. Like, I don't even really feel like I need to say that. But so I'm not even really gonna put that one out there. But so for my 5th one, Ace Combat 8. I have played Ace Combat before it was actually called Ace Combat. I have played every single one, followed Mobius 1, and all of that through all the storylines, all the things throughout the years. I'm a massive, massive Ace Combat fan. And to hear the previews that this game has been phenomenal and is even enticing fans that have not really been into Ace Combat, says a lot for me. Like I've always thought they've done a really great job. They always, include some of the most impressive planes from around the world. The team has always done a really great job, and it's always been a great showpiece when it comes out for the current generation. And this being the first current gen developed from the ground up Ace Combat this generation has me even more excited. So yeah, Ace Combat is definitely the big one of the big ones for me, and I'm really excited to pick that up. I'm gonna pick up the deluxe edition for that, of course, because I need all my planes. I need everything. That's another one for me. That's just real big. Um, but yeah, like I said, uh, lots of great games, lots of things anticipated. If you guys in the chat want to participate in that, you can let us know your top five most anticipated for the rest of the year as well. But we'll go ahead and jump into it. The main topic here. We're not even going to sugarcoat it, so we can make sure we cover it no matter what else we cover. Um, the death of physical games, it's been looming for a long time. People have always wondered when it's going to happen, and again, like I said earlier in the opening, PlayStation fired the shot, heard around the world. I really don't think they expected the backlash to be that way. At this much of an intense level, um, and there's a lot of concerns with an all digital future, rightfully so, right? We've talked about it, even within the current generation, but we've always had the option of physical, for people who want that complete ownership, where, unless something actually happens physically to your home, you're going to own that piece of media on that disc. And even then we've had other conversations, right? Earlier for the Switch, we talked about the Switch 2 being able to be bricked if Nintendo even thinks you even remotely tried to tamper with it, right? Because they're trying to prevent, the piracy on their console. They don't want you messing with the firmware and all this other stuff, if you're familiar with that area. So there's a lot of concerns, right? You need some assurances as a consumer that what you spend your money on is going to be protected. You're going to have access to it, and with that incurs a cost, right? When a someone has to maintain those servers on the back end and all these things, and it's like, look, we're all paying into this, so we want to know, we want to make sure all this stuff is taken care of. Security is another thing. PlayStation has been under fire for that recently, and rightfully so, right? Like I said, nobody's perfect. People get hacked all the time when you work in IT and things of that nature. There's a ton of stuff going on, but the issue goes further than that for PlayStation. So again, more concerns, right, for your account. If everything is tied to your account in the future, what assurances do I have that you are going to make sure you protect me as a consumer of PlayStation? Again, like I said, there's just so many facets and caveats to it, but I don't want to take it all up. I'm just introducing the topic, because the panel has a ton to say on this. And then, like I said, we're going to jump into it. I'm going to go, I have a particular order I want to hit for this, so I'm going to go with Morgan, and then I'm going to go for Will, and then so on and so forth. But I'm going to hit everybody. I don't want nobody to feel like they rushed. I want you to say your piece. Like, everybody could get they rant on this one, because this is what it's all about, and this is our moment to talk about it on our show. So Morgan, if you are ready, because I know you're in party mode. If you're ready and you would like to go first, I'm gonna call on you first so I can get you first and get you up here, and let us know, what do you think, or what are your concerns after seeing, and your reactions to PlayStation making this announcement, and everything going on with the rights for digital media.
Yeah. Sorry if you can hear noise in the background. My family's like watching football, screaming. Um, but yeah, when it comes to this whole situation, when it initially got reported, like it was, I was just like blindsided by this. It came out of nowhere. To be honest, it I had to read the blog posts a couple of times to make sure that I was reading it correctly, because I had just woke up, so I had the crust in my eyes, and I was just kind of blinded by my phone screen. So I was like, I know I didn't read what I just read. Like, I know PlayStation didn't talk about ending physical. Like, what? Like,
Yeah, I was speaking. I knew it was crazy because I woke up to a text from you telling me I was about to wake up to some crazy
Yeah,
shit.
I said I literally texted Nate and I was like, you about to wake up to some PlayStation bullshit. Um, but yeah, PlayStation for whatever reason decided that, Wednesday or whatever day it was the day to announce that they were ending physical games. And not only ending physical games, they also decided on top of that to announce that they're also going to stop supporting the PS3 and PS Vita digital stores because, when you're announcing that you're basically going all digital, the way to, reassure people is to end another digital store. That's just great. Um, but yeah, they announced the end of physical coming 2028. And I think the most surprising part was I thought that this would be a thing that Xbox would do first. Like, because from the way it's been going, Xbox has been mostly digital, you know, especially with this generation. Um, they've been releasing a lot of their first party games, like half the time didn't even come physically, right? And the ones that did, a lot of times you couldn't, it's not on the disc. It requires you to download it from online. So I was just like, this is going to be something that this Xbox is going to do first. And I thought that we would have another generation of PlayStation being physical before we went to fully digital because I think all of us expected, these companies to go digital all the way eventually, right? I think it was kind of like that glooming inevitability in the future. Like, yeah, this is kind of where it's going, especially like, when every financial quarter we see the new statistic of how many people have gone digital versus physical. And it's, the number is increasingly digital. So we're like, okay, yeah. And the fact that the Pro was released with a, optional disk drive, people were like, okay, so this is something that PlayStation is obviously, thinking about. I kind of thought it would be like the PS6 would release a lot like the PS5 Pro, where if you wanted to be physical, there would be like an optional disk drive for you to buy. And that'd be extra. And then PS7 would be the generation that PlayStation would go full physical. But to see it happening so soon in 2028 is very interesting. It says a lot about I think the way PlayStation delivered this news is what kind of pissed me off the most because they just kind of came in, said what it was, and then just kind of disappeared. They gave no plan, no reassurances, no breakdown of how exactly they're going to implement this. Like, what are the benefits for you as a customer to be digital only? What improvements are going to be made to to the PlayStation storefront? Like nothing. Just we're going digital 2028. Thank you for reading this blog post. Fuck you. Goodbye. And now it's been like 72 hours and they haven't said anything. They've been avoiding their social media. They haven't posted on anything, like Twitter, their Instagram, like nothing. They've just been going ghost. And I think they're doing this because the backlash has been astronomical. And I think they're hoping that if they avoid us for long enough, we'll shut the fuck up and not complain about it. Like, we'll eventually just let it go and they can, kind of crawl back from the corner and be like, hey, you guys okay? Like, you're good? You still mad? Like, I think too, they're probably hoping that, you know, um, Xbox layoff news is supposedly going to be coming down Monday. I think they're hoping that that will be enough of a distraction for them to be able to kind of post on the side and not feel the burn. But I'm like, I just need place to know, like, whatever they post next, the hellfire that is going to come under whatever they post, especially if it's not a retraction, it's gonna be bad. Um, I don't really know why they think that this was a good idea, especially when they are the publisher that serves the most countries, the most regions, and there are plenty of regions that are unable to buy games digitally, whether it's through internet or costs or any kind of thing like that. Um, Plenty of regions they serve are unable to not only buy digitally but also unable to connect to PSN. It was recently posted on Twitter that Marvel Rivals, or not Marvel Rivals, Marvel Tokon, the fighting game that PlayStation's making with the Marvel characters, is going to be unavailable in like over 100 countries because these countries don't have PSN, and PSN is a requirement for this game. So it's just kind of a news flash to how much PlayStation has not implemented anything as far as future proofing their digital store. I
Mm-hmm.
think for me, if PlayStation had come out and said this, right, and came out with an actual fucking plan, like implemented a plan saying, we understand that this is going to be a shock for many of our consumers. We have millions of players that are physical first or physical only, and this is going to be a big change for you, and this is why we think that you should stick with us. And these are the reassurances that we're going to give you for being a consumer in our digital store. And it should have been like, we're going to be, you made some of the points. We're going to be updating our security for PSN because obviously that was a big thing, especially in the last month or so with, the whole Colin situation with his account being, essentially stolen from him, and it
Mm-hmm.
only coming back because he has clout, right? Only his account only being, granted back to him because he was able to pull strings and he knows people, right? That's a big
Exactly.
thing for a lot of people right now. Like we don't know, if we're locked to the PlayStation store, and god forbid one of our accounts gets hacked and PlayStation's unable to prove anything, that's all our games locked away on that store that we'll never be able to get because we are locked to the PlayStation store, and we'll not be able to get our games, our trophies, our whole account back, right? um they should also came out and been like, okay, so we're going to do improvements to our game sharing program, something similar to Steam with the Steam family, where you'll be able to share among, up to 8 to 10 people. You'll be able to share all your games together. You'll be able to, a lot like Nintendo, where you'll be able to borrow and lend games to people, like digitally lend games to your friends if they want to play something. Because now, since we've taken the physical aspect of lending a game to someone,
Mm-hmm.
here, we'll allow you to share games digitally, right? Like virtually, right? Also, maybe implement some type of program similar to the rumor program that Xbox has, where you'll be able to convert some of your physical games digital. If that's make it an option. It doesn't have to be mandatory, but if you would like to convert some of your physical games into the digital storefront, so that you can play them on this new system that may or may not come with a disk drive, then that's an option for you. And then we are opening up our storefront so that now third party stores can be able to, sell our products. You can get our things on, not only Best Buy, GameStop, that'll sell digital keys, but also like CD keys and other discount stores so that, you can buy our games via that and get discounts similar to the way Steam does. Like there's just so many things that they could have, there's so many things they could have said. And it's the way that they handled this situation, as if it's just minor news to drop and then not say anything, as if the consumers aren't warranted any type of, feedback, any type of, like, again, reassurances about the future, because all of this is about the future of the, platform, and the future of, what people are going to decide to play on, right?
Exactly.
Like a lot of people are saying, a lot of people are saying that they're considering moving to PC or Xbox or whatever, and I don't blame them. Like because again, PlayStation handled this so poorly. Like again, it's one thing to just say it, but it's another thing to be to reassure your fans and tell them that there's a plan in place for you. Like we understand your concerns, and here is our plan going forward. And it's just the way they poorly handle this, and this again because they are the number one in the gaming market. I think they feel like they don't need to say anything. They don't have to say anything because they hold the majority, and they know, oh, y'all are complaining, y'all will cry, but y'all, and bitch. But you guys will come back at the end of the day. And that's how PlayStation feels. And so they don't feel like they have to say anything. And that's the problem. And this is again why competition is so important, because when you have a company that is just dominating everyone, and they feel like they don't have to, play by the rules, or speak to their customers in any type of decent way about drastic changes coming down the pipeline. And I've seen obviously the sentiment from fans, right? It's been, again, just outrage at, at this statement from PlayStation. And there's some people obviously who are mostly digital, like myself, but even me, who's someone who is mostly digital, there is no reality in which I want or don't care that physical is gone. Like in the last month before this announcement was made, I pre-ordered like 5 fucking physical games at GameStop that are coming out this fucking year. And
Yep.
then it's like Control Resonant, Stranger Than Heaven that's coming out next year, uh Blood of
Onimusha.
the Dawnwalker, Onimusha. Like I pre-ordered so many games physically, and just to think that that option is going to be taken away from me honestly drives me insane, because I like the option of having both. I like being able to get digital games because of there's obviously the convenience of digital games, but I also like having physical games because I love a good steelbook and a good collector's edition. And I will, if there's a steelbook of a game that I want to play, I will always get that version. I don't care. That's just like, that's what I like. And the fact that PlayStation is just thinking that they can come through and take that option away because of rising costs, I assume. And the fact that they want to keep you on their storefront, right? Because PlayStation doesn't want to have to share that cut with the rest of these companies, right? With Amazon and Best Buy and every other place that you can buy these games from. Now that you're in their store, they get the bigger portion of the cut from these games. And again, will we as consumers be, will we be getting, any of these savings? Will they be passed on to us? Will digital games now be cheaper now that they don't have to spend money producing these games in factories and making these cases and, shipping these games out worldwide? Will those savings be passed on to us? Hell no. Games will still be 70. Matter of fact, they'll probably end up raising these prices now. Obviously GTA 6 is going to be releasing at $80. I don't see PlayStation, stopping themselves to raise their games to 80. I wouldn't be surprised if like Intergalactic was like the first game that they released at $80, right? And again, you would think with the fact that they don't have a physical version, okay, you saved money now, so can you cut that price for us on the digital storefront? No, because PlayStation is just absolutely greedy with this whole situation. This is just this whole move is basically on about pure greed. There's nothing pro consumer about this. There's nothing, and it's the way they word it, like we did this for you. Like, we did this because this is what you wanted. We did this because this is the things that you have decided. And the whole debate about the skewed digital versus physical, right? Where again, we've been seeing the trends of games going, you know, 80%, 86% digital versus physical, at least on PlayStation. And we've seen more reports about that being more detailed about the fact that, it's obviously going to be higher digitally because there's a lot of games, whether they're live service or because they're indie and can't afford to make physical, that are in fact digital only. So that's the only way that you can buy these games. So obviously digital purchases are going to be skewed to a higher rate because there are a lot of games coming out more and more that are only releasing in a digital format. So yes, digital is going to be higher, but half the time that's not the choice of the consumer. That's just the choice of the way that the game was distributed to consumers. And they don't, they can't choose to, like, for example, a small indie team releasing a game, and obviously they can't pay for that physical disc, so they only release it digitally, right? And you as a consumer, if you want to play the game, that's the only way you can consume that game. Um, so it's like when you factor that in, the split is is a lot more close to the 50-50 kind of, or 60-40 kind of split. But PlayStation isn't really, they're not lying per se, but they're skewing the numbers in the favor of the decision that they're trying to make, which kind of puts a question mark on whether or not PS6 will have a disk drive. There is a possibility because
No, they
they've never
lying.
there is a possibility that there could be one, but I wouldn't bet too high on the fact
Yeah,
that
I wouldn't
there's
bet
going to
on
be a
it.
disk drive. Like I went into this before this news, right? I went into this thinking PS6 again was going to be like the PS5 Pro, where it was going to be like an all digital console, but you had the option to get the detachable disc drive to buy it if you wanted to play physical games. Now I'm like, okay, they're not even going to be bothering doing a disc drive now, and they're trying to, again, get people ready for it. And the mere fact that people ask why did they announce this so early, and I'm thinking it's got to do with the fact that if they announce this at the time of the PS6, like let's say they announce this when they're doing the marketing campaign, like a few months out before the PS6 drops, right? Letting people know that, hey, the PS6 will be a digital console. That would affect their the sales potential of the PS6, right? It would cause a domino effect where people would boycott the PS6. Sales would be even worse than what they already projected to be, because obviously the sales going to be bad for PS6 regardless because of the high prices of the chips and the RAM and things, and the PS6 potentially being $1,000 plus, right? That's already going to affect the sales potential for the next generation of consoles. But if you add on top of that, oh, by the way, physical's dead, it'll make it much worse as a sales pitch for the PS6. So I think they're trying to space it out so that people have time to quote unquote get over it, right? Like you're not okay, this is a year and a half before launch. This is enough time for people to cool down, think rationally about this, get cool heads, and then by the time the PS6 launches, they're like, well, it's whatever, and they're over it, right? The anger is not as heavy anymore compared to if you announced this right before the PS6 launched and caused mass protests and people saying fuck this, boycotting it, I'm not buying it, right? So I think that's kind of why. And also the fact that we heard news that the factories that are producing these discs are being currently converted to, make new shit. They're no longer being used for what they were built for, which was making physical discs. They're now being converted. I think PlayStation knew that that's not really a secret that you can keep that long, right? Like you have people working in these factories who are being retrained to do and make new products. They're obviously going to start talking, right? Like, oh man, I worked at the Sony factory and I was making physical games, but they got us making fucking dishwashers or whatever the fuck they're converting this thing into now, right? The secret wasn't going to be kept in the bottle that long, right? People are going to talk, workers are going to talk. So they were just like, we got to pull the trigger and just announce that we're doing this because they're already in the background converting their whole business model as far as their factories and things go. But even with that, I still think there's time to reverse this shit. I'm not on the whole notion of, oh, they're obvious, they're implementing, new things to do with their factory, so that means we lost and we can't say anything. Like, no, PlayStation's avoiding talking about this for a reason, because they know that, if we make enough of a noise, that they would have to change. Like, listen, they wasted billions of dollars, or not billions, but millions of dollars on Concourse. You can't fucking tell me that they can't, spend another millions of dollars to get that fucking factory back to what the fuck it was doing. Like,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not trying to hear
they
that shit.
absolutely can reverse.
They wasted millions of, and it's not a waste, but they've spent millions of dollars on this GTA 6 marketing. Again, you can't tell me they can't spend millions of dollars to get this factory back on fucking board. Like, I'm not trying to hear that shit. Like, oh, it's over. There are no. Fuck all that. Okay, Sony. Uh, I feel like they kind of put that news out that the factories are changing because they want people to give up. They want people to be upset. They want people to just
Yeah, they
kind of
want
throw the
people to
towel
feel
and be like,
defeated.
oh man, we can't do anything now. Oh fuck. Like, no, man, fuck all that shit. Like Sony, like like I'll praise PlayStation when they deserve it, but my God, this has pushed me to a point where I'm just kind of like scratching my head and I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck PlayStation's on right now. Like, I'm at the point where it's like, if prices go back down for this hardware, if like PC components, like I'm thinking of like building a fucking PC, and that's where I'll buy my third party games. I'll play the one or two PlayStation exclusives, that PlayStation has, but the shit that they actually make money on, the third party games and shit, that'll be spent somewhere else. Because I'm just like, I'm kind of just at this point where, again, the message itself I get what they're trying to tell people. I get that digital is the quote unquote future or whatever, but it's just the way they handled that shit was just so disrespectful to consumers. Just so, hey, we're just letting you know, okay, bye, fuck you type messaging that they did, when where it they didn't care to validate anybody's feelings or explain anything or go through any type of plan as to what they plan to do with PSN. Because again, PSN needs there's a lot of work that needs to go into the PlayStation Store. Like, we still can't even gift people digital games. It's another thing that PlayStation needs to implement into their digital storefront. There's just so many, like, the refund policy is fucking terrible on PlayStation. Like,
But
you
you just
just boot
download
up.
the game, it's over
Yeah,
for
you
you.
just download it, and you don't like it, or it's broken, or buggy, and you're just like, yeah, I can't play this. PlayStation is essentially like, well, it's too late, fuck you. Like, again, that's something they need to fix. Like, if you are going to force people to, if you want to play on this hardware, there's only one place that you can buy games, then you need to fix that place. It needs to be updated. It needs to be a pro consumer store that convinces people to spend their money there. Like, okay, I want to spend my money there. I want to give you my money because this is a good shopping experience. It's a great consumer friendly store. And it's just the policies around PlayStation Store are still archaic, just outdated as hell, and they haven't changed anything around it. And there's just, and even the PlayStation Store itself is just, it's still not like bug free. There's still a lot of bugs and glitches going on in there, and it's very frustrating to hear that, or not hear in particular, that they're not doing anything about it. They're not updating it as far as we know, because they haven't said anything,
Well, yeah, because
and
I was
it's
going to say the
just,
only thing they said is that they did make it sound like they're going to do something, but like we said,
yeah.
there's the thing with PlayStation right now. The way they released the statement is, "Trust me, bro,"
Yeah,
and it's
trust
like,
me,
The
bro. And I'm
only
just
thing
like,
is,
we are in a generation, as far as PS5 goes. I'm like, the games have been great. I'm enjoying the games. I'm enjoying what I'm playing. But as far as the policies and the way these publishers and companies have been acting, I can't trust you, bro. There's nothing you've done this
exactly.
generation that makes me trust you. So I'm just like, what? Like, y'all, you had trust at the beginning because you came off PS4. That was fucking great. But that trust from the place, that you kind of earned from PS4 is running fucking low. I don't have that same amount of trust for you. And the mere fact that you talk to me like I'm stupid, you put blog posts out like I'm dumb and I'm just supposed to sit there and take it, and then you just kind of avoid saying anything about it. Like,
Bingo.
you set a fire and then you run away, right? You ding dong ditch people. You put the bag of poop on fire, ring the doorbell, and run. And I'm just supposed to just say it, but just be like, oh, okay, put it out with my foot and be like, all right, that's fine. Like, I'm just, it's just so, again, it's just so the disrespect
It
that
is
PlayStation did
disrespectful.
when they made this announcement. I'm like, again, digital future, whatever, it's fine, but you need to explain things to people. You need to put these policies out there. You need to reassure people that there is a future with your store, and there is security behind it, and there are measures behind it that are good for the consumer and make them want to spend money there. Like, I don't, there's nothing reassuring about this statement that made me feel like, oh, I should definitely buy games on PlayStation. There's no way that they're going to fucking delete games off of my profile, or there's no way that if I start buying games on PS6, I have to worry in fucking 15 to 20 years that those games might be gone, right?
Hmm.
Because we just recently saw the whole issue with the PlayStation movies where they had to delete things because they ran out of a fucking license. And I understand that, licensing things. They didn't even bother refunding people. It was just like, oops, the movies that you bought, we understand you paid full price for those, but yeah, fuck you. They're gone now because we don't feel like, paying for the license anymore. Can I get a refund? No, fuck you. Oh, okay. Cool. So that's just gone. Okay. That's fine. And I'm just like, how is any of that? And again, next to that statement of PS3 and PS Vita being, digital stores being gone, which again, they kept those stores open for a long time. Kudos, great. But it's not a good look when you say, we're going to be digital only. And then right next to it, this digital store is destroyed. Goodbye. So that's just like, okay, so in the future, if I'm buying, all these games I have on my PS5 digitally, they'll probably be gone in like 10, 15, 20 years. Okay, that's fine. Cool, whatever. Um, it's just again, nothing they said in this statement made me feel good as in I can trust the moves that PlayStation's making. I have no trust with them whatsoever. I'm it's like I just woke up. I was just so like I read that and I was just so fucking pissed. Like I was just so happy to see so many people clowning that. You got Gene going on CNN talking about the shit, and I'm hoping PlayStation was just sitting there watching all that shit and watching all of their quote unquote goodwill just burn in front of them, because I'm just kind of astounded that with this mass pushback from you got celebrities talking about this, you got companies that have nothing to do with gaming clowning PlayStation about this, and this shit has been glorious. It's been fucking hilarious to
Food
watch this shit go off.
companies. That's
That's
the
what I'm saying.
crazy part.
You
Food
got
companies.
everybody coming for them, and
As he
I
should.
just hope it keeps up. I hope the pressure keeps up, and I can't wait to see what the fuck PlayStation decides to tweet next, because it better be something. Whatever, it better not be no fucking marketing tweet, no promotional tweet talking about some random fucking game. The next thing that they need to talk about is it needs to be about this. It needs to be either
Absolutely.
you retracting the statement, which would be the preferable method, okay? Because there's no way you can tell me that making physical games cost you motherfuckers that fucking much. I'm sorry. I'm
It
sorry.
actually
Don't
costs
Like
them less than everybody else because they're part of the patent owners for the Blu-ray medium.
exactly. You cannot tell me that this is just some astronomical cost that we just had to cut because it was just too much for our poor little company. I'm like, if that was the case, then you should have skipped GTA 6 marketing. You should have used the money for that. Because I know you spent an astronomical amount on GTA 6. Like you can't tell me you got all that money to pay for GTA 6, but oh God forbid, we can't make physical discs anymore. We're just too poor. We're just too poor. So I'm just kind of lost for words on how PlayStation handled this whole situation. It was just handled terribly, poorly, and I'm very interested to see what their next tweet is, because again, if it's not addressing this shit, they're gonna get ratioed to hell. I think they think that if they wait long enough, again, people will not say anything. They'll forget it, or they'll just accept it. But they're staying quiet for a reason. They know the hailstorm that's coming their way, and if they don't have a statement prepared for people, like I don't know what the fuck Herman Holst is doing. He got a Twitter account, so I don't know why he's not saying shit. Like I don't know. Ever since he's just been in charge, it just felt like he's just been this useless head that's just kind of been
I
sitting
agree.
there, not really doing anything. You
Yeah,
know, claiming Concord is the next Star Wars because God knows this man's taste. Like, listen, he's cool. He did his thing with I know he comes from Gorilla. He was the head of that studio. Thank you for Horizon, great franchise, love it. But some of y'all sounds like y'all just need to stay developers because y'all don't know how to lead for shit.
no,
Like, I'm just trying to figure out what the hell his position is and what he's exactly supposed to be doing, because it seems like everything since he kind of stepped up has just been, as far as policy goes, this has been absolute dog shit.
yeah,
Like the
it's been
only
a
thing they
mess.
ever did really good is reverse the PC, but now we see why they did that shit. We see why they reversed the PC. It wasn't for us, or it wasn't for, oh, we're losing money. It was because they wanted to lock everything down to the PlayStation Store. They knew they were going to a digital only future, and they wanted to make sure that the only place that you could play these games, their first party, was on PlayStation. They wanted to lock everything to that store. Because they knew they were bringing the ships home to port, and the only way you can take off is on their port. They don't want PC, they don't want Best Buy, they don't want any of these stores. They just want you to come to their store. So yeah, we can see now, we know now we know why they did this whole PC shit. Reversing course. They want every cent they can get from gamers. Um I mean, there was never a time in my gaming on PlayStation or whatever where I thought PlayStation was my friend. Like, none of these corporations are your fucking friend.
Yeah,
Let's
absolutely
be
not.
very clear about that. And there was no reality in which I was just like, I feel betrayed, like some fans do when their companies do stupid shit. I can't feel betrayal from a company because I don't feel a relationship with them. I'm just upset with the way they handle this shit because they didn't disclose things to their customers in a respectful way. They kind of treat us like we're fucking stupid. And I don't appreciate that shit at all with the way PlayStation has handled this. Because this is a delicate matter, and they didn't treat it like it was. They just treated it like it was just some normal shit. Like, oh yeah, we're like, we're stopping production of this random game or something. No, this is a big fucking deal, and PlayStation just treated it like it was just whatever. Um,
I mean, it felt like a company announcement for like a holiday. Like the company will
yeah,
be
like
closed on Friday for 4th of July. Everybody have a great weekend. Like I was like, huh?
exactly. That's how they disclose that shit. And I always know PlayStation's about to say some bullshit whenever they post. Here's a blog post about this, right? They never just tweet it, right? They always make you click a link and read a blog post full of their bullshit, right? I knew that's how I knew about the beast, and I was like, oh god, here we go. What am I about to read? PlayStation. I clicked that shit, and I'm just like, I know they not just like like just decision after decision this generation just has me just questioning what future does PlayStation want, because I'm just trying to kind of confused as to what they think the point of a console is if you're not going to have physical media anymore. Like
Hey, hey,
that's the biggest draw of a
I have a
console.
question. I have a question. What
Oh, go
stage
ahead,
of
go ahead.
what stage of capitalism do we bring back the guillotine?
Honestly, quite honestly, you know what I need from I need them to do what they did when back in PS3, the whole security and people's accounts got hacked, and then motherfuckers had to go up on the news and bow to everybody and apologize. This is
I
that's
posted
that.
that.
I
Mm-hmm.
need all of the heads of Sony to come out in on national news and bow
Foreheads
and
better touch the
apologize
fucking
for
floor.
this bullshit.
Exactly.
Exactly, bro. Heads
And
to the fucking floor, because this
yeah,
shit
and then
there's
disembowel themselves. So fun.
commit seppuku, like like
Exactly.
all on there, every single one of you, because this shit is insane to me. There is no there's no way they don't make hella money selling physical. You can't tell me that, oh, them being digital only would be like this
Let me
would
cover
make
that part,
their
Morgan.
profits jump.
Let
Okay,
me
go ahead. Well, I'm passing you.
let me
Go
cover
ahead.
that
Pass the time.
part.
Go ahead.
I'm
You
not
got
gonna
this. You got it.
talk anything that Morgan said because she hit the fucking nail on the head.
Mm-hmm.
But let me talk a little bit about the
You got
physical
this.
part and the making money part, because I think that's the biggest confusion that people have when looking at PlayStation's statement, which was a fucking dick slap to the face. Um, and people are just going with it like, yep, it makes sense. Actually, it doesn't fucking make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. And once you start to understand a little bit more of the business side of physical video games, you will completely understand that PlayStation is 100% incorrect in this. Now, people are going to say, well, will they see the numbers? So do we. So do we. Now, we don't know every single detail, but we see the financials every year. And just based off the financials, just based off those alone, we can tell that something is completely wrong here. Now, imagine if we had complete access to the information that PlayStation actually has, how much more shit we would find. But let's take it back a little bit. And I'm sorry to cut you off, Morgan. I've been shaking my feet over here for the last 30 minutes because I've been trying to jump in too. But
Nah, I
when
see.
I
I felt
saw
you
this,
doing the
mind you
double
guys,
dutch, so I knew you was ready.
dude, hard, hard. But just like Morgan, and me and Morgan actually talked the morning of, and she sent me a DM, like, you know what I mean, immediately.
Mm-hmm.
But for those of you guys that don't know me, I'm Will777JP. I have a YouTube channel, and my YouTube channel revolves around video games, but physical video games, and specifically, I have a series of videos called "Will It Play with No Internet?" That's the thing that really skyrocketed me to where I'm at now, which we mentioned earlier, 4,500 subscribers in under a year and a half. All right, and I
Absolutely.
don't have any marketing. I barely go on podcasts. People don't really invite me. The ones that I do, sometimes I can't make it. So I'm not somebody that I'm known all over the internet, right? So every single subscriber I have is organic. Why did I bring that up? I just told you that the physical or the main gist of my channel is not just gaming, but physical gaming in specific. Okay? So when we hear the news, which by the way, I woke up, clocked in at work, I work from home, I made a video, you could hear my voice. I sound groggy as fuck because I roll out of bed, clock in, and fucking go back to sleep for a little bit, right? That shit woke me the fuck up. And like Morgan said, it is the disrespect. Before I get into the numbers, I also want to say if you're a digital only gamer or a physical only gamer, or you buy a little bit of both, which I think that's the majority of gamers, is they
Mm-hmm.
do buy both. I don't think that the majority of gamers are strictly digital. Heck, even Henry Heck, shout out to Henry, who is 99.9% digital, still buys physical games. Um, you're not at fault here. I just want to make that very clear. If you're a digital gamer who feels like, fuck, I buy 80% digital, 90% digital, 99% digital, you're not at fault here. There is nothing you did. This is strictly on PlayStation. Common sense wise speaking, common sense without seeing any numbers, any data. Did you really think physical games are only selling according to PlayStation 2 out of 10? 2 out of 10. That's what PlayStation is saying. 2 out of 10 games are being bought physical. Did you really believe that? When you go to my channel and you see me do a Will It Play with no internet on the day and date game that just came out today, do you really think that only 2 out of 10 people, when you look at people watching my video and I have 25,000 views to see if Battlefield 6 can be played offline, do you really think that only 2 out of 10 people are buying physical games? When you're scrolling through social media and you see these collections, rooms filled with video games, where if I was a kid, I'd be like, hell, now that I'm an adult, I still say it's paradise. Oh my God, I want to be like that when I grow up. You for real believe that only 2 out of 10 games are being bought physical. Secondly, if physical video games are so out the door, then why did Loot Box Gaming open up, who is an online digital retailer or online retailer that sells physical games? Why did they open up in late 2025? Why? That would be the worst business decision to make in history when physical games are dying, right?
Exactly.
Why would they make that investment? Why would
that demand is crazy?
Exactly. Loot Box Gaming, Lost in the Cult, another one. Why would they start in late 2025? Now, if you haven't heard of these guys, I definitely recommend you go check them out, especially Lost in the Cult, because they will take games, they'll print them out physically, but more than that, they make a very boutique style of physical game. They'll generally get the creators involved. The creators will give you some exclusive shit. There'll be signatures. There'll be a different art style in your favorite game that has never been printed before. So it's more boutique. Yes, you'll pay for it, but it's still there for you, right? Limited run games that started in 2015, and they're still going strong. And let's bring up the big boy, GameStop. GameStop should have been dead outside of you think physical games are dying. GameStop should have been dead years ago already. Not because physical games aren't selling, just on mismanagement alone.
Yeah.
Just for the whole, what's that digital money shit called? The digital art.
Crypto.
Just on crypto and just on their fucking the digital art shit, the monkey and digitally that you
Oh
can
yeah,
buy.
yeah.
The
The NFTs.
yeah,
NFTs.
Yeah.
Just on those decisions alone, they should have died, but they didn't. GameStop is still alive, and not only are they alive, they are thriving. So much so that they try to buy eBay this year, and they were going to buy eBay with cash on hand. What did they do? They just adapted. They closed a few stores, which, by the way, a few, I mean hundreds,
Oh yeah.
close to 1,000 stores, but they still have over 1,000 left. GameStop has more Walmarts. GameStop has more Best Buys, physical location wise. I could be wrong on the Walmart part, but the point is they have more stores than your average business out there, national chain business. Now let's get into some of the numbers that people are keep bringing up, this 80-20 shit, because I need people to understand what PlayStation means when they say 80 is digital, 20 is physical. The peak of physical game sales was between that 2016 and 2020 timeframe. That's at the height of the PS4, right when the PS5 was going to come out. Now, these numbers could be different, but based on what I found, PlayStation at the peak was selling between 110 to 120 million physical copies a year. And this is third party, first party. And before I continue with that, let me just bring this up real quick, because another thing that people are confused about. At first, when I saw the PlayStation saying no more physical, I thought, okay, no big deal, because that means that I won't be able to get Interstellar physical. I'll just, it'll be digital. But PlayStation has a branch, or Sony has a branch, another separate business called Sony DADC, the Sony Digital Audio Disc Corporation, which is part of the Sony Group. They are the sole authorized manufacturer for PlayStation physical disc PS1 through PS5. This has been the case since the original PS1 in the 1990s. No third party publisher can legally press their own PS disc without going through Sony's process. On my channel, I made a video about, I forget his name, but he's an indie developer, one guy who came out with a game called Popcorn Rocket. Okay. He had to go through PlayStation to get his physical game printed. He told us, he gave us a lot of great information on there because he's transparent about everything. There is a minimum requirement of between 1,000 to 1,200 physical games that PlayStation needs in order to print a physical version of a game. The ESRB, the people that rate the games, rated M, rated T, they charge you $12,000 to get that game rated digital, and then an additional $3,000 for every additional platform. So whenever a company wants to make a game and they release it digital, they pay $12,000. If they wait too long to get it printed physical, they got to go ahead and pay another $12,000. And that's just to the ESRB, not including the money that PlayStation makes on the back end. And I just want to let you know that quick little bit of info so you start to understand some of the cost accrued here with physical. Guesstimates are showing because we can't see everything. For every new game that sells for $70, after all the cuts, PlayStation is keeping about 40 to 45 of those dollars. All right. When we talk about why is PlayStation doing this, is because they don't want $40, $45 anymore. They want 70. Going back to the whole peak of PlayStation selling physical between 100 to 110, 115, 120 million. I don't think it's 120. I think it's more to the 100 million. Those numbers went down. That is without a doubt. But in 2025, PlayStation sold how many physical copies you think? Between third party, first party, anything. 70 million. What that 70 million number was 2025. How many million physical copies did they sell 2024, 2023, 2022? Between 70 and 80 million. Even though we are getting less physical games per year, the physical gamer is still going out and buying physical games, meaning PlayStation is still selling the same amount of physical games, even though there is less product to sell. So this whole 80-20 thing is complete horseshit. What PlayStation is essentially telling you is we're releasing 10 games. Out of those 10, 6 are digital only, 4 are physical. But because 4 are physical only, we're going to count them as if all 10 got a physical copy. So the 80-20 number is actually completely all the way the fuck around. If you just compared physical to physical, the real numbers are 75%, meaning that gamers are out here buying 75% of the physical games available. That is why people like loot box gaming, fucking VGP, you name it, are successful. Because not only are people going out here and supporting physical, they're hungering for it so much so that they want reprints of physical games that aren't in print anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The hunger for physical is still fucking there, even if it wasn't. This is
So I
still
gotta
not an
ask you,
excuse. What's up,
I,
Omar?
I'm legit angry now. How the fuck is PlayStation getting away with saying
I'm gonna tell you
70
why they're
plus
getting away
euros?
with this. I'm gonna tell you exactly why they're getting away with this. A lot of you guys have known me for a few years now. I didn't start to be active on social media till like 2021. Some of you guys have known me since then. Shout out to Thrifty. He's known me pretty much close since then. Nelson, same thing. I met Nelson through a podcast, and I met Thrifty through Nelson, and we played I forgot the game, but it was a great time. The reason PlayStation can get away with this, and the reason I bring myself up, is the same reason people don't invite me to podcasts. because I've been criticizing PlayStation for years for every little fucking thing that they did. PS5 Pro no stand, fuck you, PlayStation. Another live service game, fuck you, PlayStation. People excused it. When PlayStation dropped 1.5 fucking games or I'm sorry, 2 games in a year and a half or 2 years, it's okay. They're just busy. They made a mistake with live service. Yes, people criticize them, but they didn't criticize them enough. And PlayStation now thinks because they have no competition, they're making more money than ever in history combined, FYI, combined. And that's what makes this even worse. It's not like PlayStation's failing or PlayStation's only making a little bit of money. They're making more money this generation than they ever have in the history of PlayStation combined, this console generation. So the greed is not even fathomable at this point.
Yeah.
But people didn't criticize PlayStation, and that's why they're doing it, Omar, because
Okay, but
they
I get that
think
part. But what I don't get is how can they get away with it from the legal standpoint? Is
there
there no
is no legal
protection?
standpoint.
I'm about to
That's
say, there
the
is no
other
le-
problem.
there's nothing.
There
There's no
is no
legal
legal. There's
standpoint on it.
nothing in the law protecting us. And the people that were stopped killing games, they were getting shit on by the gamers. Oh, it's so expensive for a developer and a publisher to pay for service forever. Guys, you're acting like these guys are making. Look, man, the video game industry is the biggest in the world or entertainment wise, the biggest, more than movies, sports, music combined. Every year it grows, but yet they keep telling us that they're hurting. They're not hurting. They're just mismanagement. Their mismanagement is so strong that in order to fix themselves, and this is what PlayStation's doing, instead of fixing itself, they're just making us pay for it like they've always have, and we've never complained. Look at GTA 6, $80 standard. In reality, it's $100 standard. Let's keep it a buck.
Yeah. The problem
What,
is we don't have that much power.
we do have the power. We just don't use it correctly because we are selfish gamers.
I will always go back to when Jim Ryan said when we put our games on PC, we didn't get any pushback. Despite and I say we, I mean every single person I know was against this move. But
Omar, the
because the
pushback?
casuals didn't care, they didn't see it as a pushback.
No, because it was vocal. It was vocal. That's not a pushback to them. What if you have kids and your kid said, "No, I don't want this candy. I want this other candy." What? You just okay, that's it? No, you're like, this is what you get. You get what you get. This isn't any pushback. That's how they see us. They see us at kids who are whining, and at the end of the day, we're gonna eat the dinner any fucking ways because we're hungry. That's not pushback. Pushback is canceling your PS Plus. Pushback is canceling your pre-order of GTA. Pushback is not buying Wolverine. That is the pushback that's going to speak. But guess what? We're not strong enough as a gamer to fucking do that. And GTA is going to go ahead to be the biggest selling game in history. They already sold, according to reports, they made $1 billion within an hour or some shit like that. That is the pushback that needs to happen. That's not going to happen. I already told you guys I beat 80 games last year. I told you guys how much in love I am with gaming currently, so much so that I bought 20 physical video games last month alone. JRPGs, a genre that I know very little of, that I'm gonna depend on Morgan and Nate and all you guys, Thrifty, all you guys out there to help me navigate through it and tell me where the good shit is, right? But even I cancel my PS Plus. Even I am not gonna buy a PS6. I've been a console gamer my whole fucking life. I bought a PC in December. Shout out to Nate who helped me set it up so I can get the best performance out of Cyberpunk, who taught me some things so I can kind of navigate through it. Even I haven't been to my PC, even though Steam is cheap, way cheap. I have way more games. There are games, Tokyo Xanadu that we were talking about earlier. I'll be able
It's
to
on
play that
PC.
motherfucker on PC.
It
I
always
know.
go on PC earlier before playthrough. Yeah.
Exactly.
Game like
So
this,
then,
yeah, I get it. Yeah.
so I'm gonna ask you guys a question now, right? And I'm gonna stop yapping because I know everybody here wants to talk and get their shit off, and I've got my own podcast. I've done that over there too. But let me ask you guys a question. This is a real fucking question here, because if you don't think that this is just another thing that we don't like, you're completely wrong. This is history in the making right here, guys. You could have ignored all the fuckery that PlayStation has done this console generation. This isn't the time for that right now. This is not the time for that right now, guys. If you're a digital only gamer who thinks this will not affect you, if you're that small minded thinking, okay, educate yourself, because this is going to affect you. As a matter of fact, not only is it going to affect you, but you're the target.
Absolutely.
Physical gamers aren't the target we're the targets right now. But think about this. PlayStation is willing to throw away $1 billion a year to get to you, the digital gamer. Think about that. Who the fuck is willing to throw away any kind of money, especially $1 billion, to get to you, the digital gamer? That is what
Not only
PlayStation
that,
is doing
without
here.
giving anything in return. That's the
Well,
reality.
you're gonna get squeezed. What, you think PS Plus ain't gonna go up? You think the games aren't going to 80? That's gonna be the standard, all while getting less. So the question that I got for you guys, so I can go back to listening to you guys and interject here and there and play some Tokyo Xanadu on my PS Portal, which, by the way, it's a physical game that I got, and I'm playing on my PS Portal. Oh, who would have thought, right? There goes more of that propaganda that they tell you, right? Physical's not worth it because of the PS Portal or the PS6, handheld, and they fuck that. They're doing it simple for greed and control. That's it. But the question that I have for you guys is, why would you stay with PlayStation, an all digital PlayStation, when an all digital PlayStation does digital the worst?
Facts.
What is gonna make the PlayStation unique when it comes around that you're not gonna be able to get elsewhere and better?
That's how the reality is.
Please, that's the question I got for you guys. Because
it's
if you say
something.
exclusives, what,
Yeah.
the one you get a year? 2? This year is special because we're
Um,
getting 3.
Okay, but look, no matter how many we get, when they drop, for the most part, I'm talking about single player games, there's
Mm-hmm.
not much to them.
No. But that's the question I got for you guys, and I want you guys to really think about this. The thing that always stuck me to PlayStation
But
is ease of use. Guess what? I had 1 hour conversation with Nate, maybe a little bit longer, and all he did was top me off with knowledge. But if I would have never talked to Nate, I would have figured this PC shit out probably in 4 hours, right?
Yeah.
For me, the controller
It
is a
doesn't take
big one.
much
Guess
anymore.
what? I can use a controller on the PC.
You can use
I
any
can still use the
controller
PS5
on
controller.
PC.
Yeah, exactly. So when we talk about the PS6, we know that's just going to be more expensive. I got my pre-built PC, a 5060 Ti, for 1100. Actually, yeah, $1,100 on sale this last Christmas. 1100, and guess what? I can play almost every game I want at 120 frames per second, 1440. If I do 4K,
yeah, you
it
can
drops to about 100.
you can until you get a troubleshoot.
Yes, until
Then
I have to
you're fucked.
troubleshoot. But guess what? The same AI that people are bitching about, and the same AI that all these companies are going for, is the same AI that I go and talk to, and they help me troubleshoot it in fucking 20 minutes. The point is, I get it. It's PC. It's more complicated than just plug and play like a PlayStation is. But is it worth the yearly subscription to PS Plus of minimum $100? Because that's just gonna go up. Is it
Yeah.
worth the no fucking refunds, none of the digital rights or digital benefits that you can get on PC or even elsewhere? Is it worth all that? Because your all digital PS5, where it should be the cheapest, is going to end up costing you the most. So to you as a console gamer, and mind you, I'm hurt by this. Anybody who knows me knows I talk shit about PC like no other tomorrow. But my love for
that's
gaming is stronger than my hate for PC.
but that's what I'm
And
saying.
I
That's the
am
scary thing, is that y'all are ready to consider PC as a primary, and that's what I keep telling people that PlayStation needs to worry about, and that's the real threat. And people keep not taking it seriously, and I'm like, you guys, I'm like, I've been doing this for over 30 years in on all platforms, including PC. I know every type of gamer is my friend. I've got entire groups of people who only play on PC. I've got plenty of those who have bought PlayStations over the years, and I know exactly why they bought them, and I know the way that I invest in the system. I know the way that people who are fully in PlayStation invest in the system. And the scary part to me that I would be afraid of for them is that everybody I know that is into PlayStation heavily has already begun to consider that not
Yep.
that they're going, but they've begun to
We
consider PC and Nintendo alternatives to either lessen their investment in PlayStation significantly or completely remove their future investment in PlayStation. And that is
Well,
yeah,
can I give
what
you
they should be
guys
worried about.
Morgan
can I
and
give you
we
guys a
literally said it. Morgan
can I
said
give you
it.
guys a couple more stats
Yeah.
real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
So on my channel, as you guys know, it's mainly it's all physical, right? I have 4,500 subscribers. Majority of them are physical guys. Whether they got small collections, big collections, it doesn't matter, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let me give you guys an example. I will make a post on my channel. I will get anywhere between, I don't know, 10 to 30 likes, depending on what the post is, right? For the last couple posts that I've posted in regards to this situation, in specific, the first post that I made 3 days ago, I got 82 likes, 65 comments. 60 of those comments were saying, fuck PlayStation, I'm out.
Yeah.
My second post, I posted, this is exactly what I wrote. I decided to cancel my PS Plus subscription. I still have some months left, and I am still not sure if I will be back or leave forever or even just get a different tier. What I do know is that right now, I feel like PS Plus is the only non-physical way PlayStation is getting money from me consistently. This is not a call to action, and you do not need to do what I do. Everyone can do what they want. In that post, I have 300 likes and 123 comments. And the majority of those comments are people saying, I cancel my PS Plus 2. I have 3 months left. I have 2 months left. I have a month left. I'm gone. No more
Not
PS
gonna
Plus for
lie,
me.
I
You even
have a
have
month
comments in
left
there.
or
You have
two
a month.
months.
So it's
I'm
up to you if you
literally
want to take
yeah, like
that action. And going above that, we have people saying not only did I cancel my subscription, I unplugged my PS5 from the wall. There is
Oh
no
shit.
more online connectivity. The other call, not call to action, but the other post that I made, I found this post on the internet, and it looks like it's somebody talking to AI. And the person says, I just removed all games from my PS wish list. And once again, in my post, I said, hey, I don't know if this is true or not, but it's getting tracked somehow. It makes sense to me. So I'm going to do it. You do what you do, right? Basically saying, this probably ain't nothing, but hey, I'm going to do it anyways. And this is AI's reply after the person said, I'm getting rid of my wish list. This is a brilliant, highly strategic move. Wiping your wish list isn't just a quiet act of defiance, it strikes directly at one of the most sensitive data points a digital platform tracks. From an analytic standpoint, emptying your wish list actually registers on Sony's backend in a way that standard angry social media posts simply don't. Here's exactly what happens. And they talk about something called destroying predictive revenue models, where Sony doesn't just track current sales, they rely heavily on wish list metrics to forecast future quarterly revenue and judge intent to buy. That makes sense to me. I don't know if this is true or
No,
not,
I
but
mean
guess what?
that's
I did
definitely
it
true.
anyways.
That's definitely true.
So I got rid of my whole wish list. And guess what? I had like 100 and some games in that fucking wish list. And you know what? We have 104 comments telling me done on it. Never had a digital wish list anyways, but I'll tell friends. Cancel my PS Plus today and non-clear my wish list. I'm on it. I'm on it. Done. Thank you for reminding me. These are the comments that I'm getting. I'm not normally, guys. Like, I don't think people understand how big of a how big of a deal this is.
that's
Normally,
a
there's always a
massive jump.
conversation to be had, right? People are normally saying, well, this doesn't make sense, like blah blah. I only got about one or two of those comments, and one of them said, I'm not doing that. I'm not disrespecting Sony. That's what he said. Obviously, he's a fucking pony, and he obviously doesn't care what PlayStation does.
that's
He's always
so
going to be a
weird, yeah.
PlayStation fanboy. So that's okay. You do
Disrespecting a
you.
company. That's so weird.
But the other thing that another guy told me, which I thought about, but I said, fuck it, is I'm not going to delete my wish list because that's going to do nothing but hurt the developers themselves. And I said, it may, but you know what? Developers now, they need to get with it or off of it. This is their fight too. And we have seen on social media developers, mainly smaller developers, right, saying, I wasn't going to do a physical copy. Now I am. Not only am I doing a physical copy now, I'm going to do as many physical copies from the library that we have out there before 2028. So this isn't a gamer fight. This is an industry-wide fight. It affects the limited run games of the world, the retailers. It affects the gamers, and it also affects the developers and publishers. Hell, we have developers out here fucking crying on social media how now when they make a game, they don't have anything physical to show that they actually worked on something. And you guys know all the dangers of digital media. Morgan hit on it with the 500 movies that PlayStation took away, which isn't the first time. This also happened during a National Geographic deal that they did, where I personally lost TV shows. This has also happened with Amazon when they took out thousands of ebooks. This has happened. I mean, this just happens all the fucking time. Then the other big objection that people have is I only play my games once and I never replay them again. Like that gives PlayStation the okay to just take the shit that you paid for, right? But those are the arguments that we are seeing online, or that I'm seeing online from people who, one, don't think this isn't that big of a deal, that things will generally stay the same throughout the PS6, PS7 generation, and they are so wrong. But more importantly, don't let this 80-20 fucking number fool you. That is a number that PlayStation is fucking up on purpose. So whenever they do go all digital, it makes sense to you. And the last thing I'll say to pass it on to you guys is the whole, what was I saying? The physical numbers were bullshit. Damn it. It went through my mind. I think it was along the lines of something physical. Oh, fuck. My bad. I
You were
completely
good.
left my
You're
last
good,
train of
Will.
thought
You're
there.
good.
Sorry
If
about
I
that.
think
When
about it,
you
I'll
get,
blurt it out because it was important.
yeah, when you get back to it, we will hear it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, definitely jump in. Um, but yeah,
Some
no.
great points, though, Will.
Yeah, I would say all good points. I mean, like I said, that's the point of this conversation. And like I said, I want everybody
Oh, I'm sorry.
to go as much.
It
Go
came to
ahead.
me real quick.
Go.
Real quick. This is from the Insomniac leak right here. And we'll just name a couple of them, which are some of the newer ones. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, 73 to 76% of those games sold were physical, 24 to 27% were digital. 2021. Ghost of
Yep, I bought a
Tsushima,
physical copy.
Director's Cut, 71% were physical, 29% digital. God of War, 66 physical, 34 digital. Last of Us Part 2, 61 physical, 39 digital. The highest game, or the game that has the highest percentage of digital versus physical of PlayStation first party, is MLB The Show. And that one makes a ton of sense because if that you're buying that game yearly, you're not going to be swapping out that game all the time. So digital works. But that's the only game, and it happens to be the live service game.
Yeah.
So even within PlayStation's own just first party titles, even people that are mainly digital are still going out and buying PlayStation first party titles physical. Actually, the majority. And in some of these percentages, we're talking double. I mean, Horizon
Yep.
Zero Dawn, 71% physical, 29% digital. Now people say, oh, Will, that's old data, right? That's PS4, early PS5. Didn't I say earlier that even though we're getting less physicals than ever, PlayStation is still selling 70 million physical copies a year, which has been consistent this whole console generation? Meaning that even though they're making less physical, you're still selling more physical games than ever.
To
Exactly.
All right, I'll
to
pass it on to you guys.
to address the reasons you point, Astrobot also sold in Europe 60% physical. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a game that was
Apparently,
a few years ago. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's not just a old news story. That's still relevant today.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead
Also,
go ahead and jump in on it.
yeah. Also regarding the sales numbers, like shout out to Nip. He also pointed out that for the revenue, they actually deduct the royalties they owe for third party for physical games in the reporting, but not for digital. So they're deliberately inflating the revenue
Mhm.
they make from digital to make it look like the disparity is
Wow,
much
that's
bigger.
dirty. I
Actually,
didn't see that.
Well, that's why
yeah,
people say, why is PlayStation doing this? And I know that I hate saying money because obviously money is the root of all evil, or for the love of money is the root of all evil, and money is the big motivator for everything. But in this case, it's literally is money
yeah,
and control.
greed.
They want to funnel all that money direct. That's why when I say digital gamers, they're aiming at you. You're the ones they're going after. They're willing to throw all physical money away, including the over $1 billion they make on it, to go after you because you are the most susceptible to be overpaying for a game. You are. You're the one that's going to be buying the DLCs more. You're the ones who's going to be buying all the skins, shit like that. One more. I'm sorry, I'm keep yapping, but one more
Go
thing
ahead.
for the physical people. I just told you guys that I pre-ordered Hellraiser a year and a half ago. A year and a half ago. Try finding a copy, a physical copy of that collector's edition now. It's gonna be not impossible, but it's gonna be a little bit harder. Secondly, whenever they put out a complete edition physically of a game, those sell out. Those sell out almost instantly. The Game of the Year editions, which they don't really make anymore, but the Game of the Year editions, complete editions, shit like that, those sell out. Go to eBay right now. Go look at a complete edition, which by the way, a lot of those, the Japanese market too. So a lot of those are being sold in Japan only, but you can still get them with English subtitles. Those are going for brand new retail money, even though the game is 5, 10 years old. But going back to the Japanese market, even though I think that's part of the topic, PlayStation said they want to focus on the Japanese market. Well, how are they doing that when the Japanese market mainly is physical?
Yeah.
PlayStation is also willing to throw them away. Either they're willing to throw them away or their hubris is so much that they for real think that, yeah, we're going to lose some, but the majority are going to stick with us. And their hubris is even greater because they're saying, yeah, we know our refund policy sucks. We know all this shit that we do digital sucks. We know we just took 500 movies from you. But yeah, we're PlayStation. We're the best. So you're going to come with us because where else can you go?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That is their fucking thinking. And when we talk about corporations aren't your friend, that's one thing. But corporations being your enemy, that's a real fucking thing. That is a real thing. PlayStation has reached a point where they don't want to earn your money anymore. They want to take your money. And they are going to squeeze you as hard as you possibly can. And they don't care about limits anymore. They do not care. I forgot the name of the big leaker that's on social media. Everybody knows him if I said his name, but he put out a video also. Is that when did PlayStation make this decision? A lot of people would say they made it a long time ago and they've been working up to it. I disagree with that, and he confirmed that. I actually think they made it recently. The reason I say they made it recently within the last few months is because the CEO of what is it, Take Two from Rockstar, he said that there was going to be a physical copy of GTA months ago, months and months ago. So I think what happened is PlayStation told Rockstar, hey, we're probably going to go all digital starting 2028. And Rockstar was like, okay, cool. We'll just do digital only. And then they made the digital announcement. I don't think it was reversed. That's why we're still getting the cases. That's why we're still getting somewhat of a physical version of that game. So PlayStation let Rockstar know. Rockstar went through with it, the unicorn, right? And now the unicorn reminded PlayStation that, hey, you know what? We can do this. And they're right if they look at that number because look how many people couldn't control themselves. Even physical gamers couldn't control themselves. My argument for not fucking pre-ordering GTA is simply it's half a year away and they haven't shown me shit. Which what happened to that, guys? What happened to make them earn our money? What happened to that? But because it's Rockstar, now they get a pass.
Yep.
That's
Pretty
Yeah,
what got
much.
no,
us in this position
Rockstar
to
can
begin with
literally,
PlayStation. That is
Rockstar can
exactly why we're in
literally
this
kill,
situation. It's PlayStation, so we give them a pass. Now look at them.
Rockstar can kill.
They're not making a pass on you. They're straight up fucking grabbing by the pussy.
Rockstar
I'll
can
stop now. I'll
legit
stop.
get away with murder.
You're good.
It's not even funny. Rockstar is the counter, the gaming darling. They can absolutely do no wrong.
No, and
Okay.
I mean, and we see this all over the industry with Naughty Dog. People are Naughty
Yeah,
Dog
yeah,
fans, and
they are. They
Insomniac, and they
Naughty
have great
Naughty Dog
trajectories.
Naughty Dog got humbled as fuck with how they did what they did.
Hmm.
So yeah, and Rockstar, the fact that Rockstar uh, gave gave you guys, I say you guys, I'm not interested in GTA like that. gave you guys the $80
we
and then
know.
the $100 edition,
Well,
and stuff like that, and you're not getting a CD out of it. Like, no, that's a dick move.
no, it's a big move. And fuck, I'm sorry, I keep hogging the mic up. I'm so sorry, guys. Please forgive me. The other thing, real quick, I say that already, real quick, is guys, GTA is not gonna go nowhere. Okay, it won't hurt you to cancel your pre-order. Let's be as active as we can about this. You can still buy the game. Just buy it the week before it comes out. You're still gonna get all the pre-order bonuses. You're not gonna lose
Facts.
out on anything. So it's okay. Just cancel your fucking pre-order right now. Do a complete reversal. At least this will give PlayStation a few months of being like, oh shit. You know what I mean? The other thing that you guys you need to do every single trailer that PlayStation has dropped over the last day and a half, we want physical. Stop killing physical. Every single comment. We need to keep that pressure up. Same exact thing. Every fucking post by PlayStation on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, doesn't fucking matter what it is. They could be talking about, whatever, you know, what is it? Build the Wish Foundation. Stop killing physical games. Take care of the kids. Like, just keep going down their throats. Sony
Okay,
makes a post. Same shit.
but
Spider-Man fucking whatever, make a post.
they did that. But the issue
Yeah.
is, and I read a comment, and I truly believe that what's gonna happen is Monday or Tuesday, you're gonna see that dying down because we're gonna get the Xbox news, and they're gonna overshadow it.
No, that's no. Well, this is way bigger than that.
Xbox
That's the
News
thing that
has
people.
no shadowing for this. Like
Yeah,
that's
no.
not gonna
Xbox has
happen.
been non-physical for years now. They only put out, one physical, but there is third party. That's the difference between Xbox and PlayStation. Is
Okay.
Xbox can go no physical, it's no problem because they don't control the market with physical game. PlayStation does.
No, I'm not
And the
talking
other
about that. I'm talking about the closure of the studios and stuff like
Oh yeah,
that.
no, everybody knows Xbox is dead and gone, and that's what's emboldened PlayStation to behave this way because there is no competition, and people keep
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
Nintendo ain't
yeah,
competition
but
either.
not only that, it's because their competition is heading that way. But because we, like you said it, Xbox haven't been physical for the longest,
Hmm.
and we got information that word on the street, and I truly believe it could that they've been moving for the longest. Next year is gonna be digital only for them.
But they still have third party physical. With PlayStation, first party, third party, all goes away. With Xbox, it's just them. It's just the first party studios that are making physical. Third party, I just bought a not Dragon's Age, but the 2D, 3D remake. Um,
Dragon
there's
Quest.
like one, two, Dragon Quest. I just bought three for PlayStation and Xbox. They were both on sale for like $12. So I'm like, you know what? I'll do a comparison video on my YouTube channel. No big deal. But yeah, physical will still be printed. You can still print physical on Xbox. It just won't be from Xbox themselves, right? But you know who Xbox does make physical games for? PlayStation. They won't make Doom: The Dark Ages for Xbox, but they will put a physical for PlayStation.
Well, I don't think it's actually physical because you still have to
Well,
download it.
yeah, you still have to download. But even then, you can still sell, trade, borrow. You can still shop the
Yeah, yeah.
market with that. And I'm not excusing it because in my channel, in my videos, I don't buy those games. And sometimes I do. And we test them like 007. You only get the first 30 minutes of the game on the disc because there's on disc DRM. So until they unlock it, then you can download the rest of the game. It's the reason I didn't buy 007. And, there's shit like that. But
Mhm.
with all this
What do
being
you
said,
what do you
guys,
do then? Do you not simply not play the game, or do you
yeah,
play it on PC?
I simply don't play the game. Or if I
Mhm.
can borrow from somebody, I'll borrow it like that, whatever. Or I wait. What I normally do is I wait till it goes on sale digitally. I've never been comfortable with paying anything over $30 digitally ever. Um, I've only paid digitally $70 day one was one time, and that was Monster Hunter Wilds. And only because I didn't know that there was a physical, I for real thought it was a live service game that was always online. But even, for example, physical Helldivers. I bought it physical. I play it. Well, we have at home, and you guys do it too. What is it? Where you share your games digitally, play share, whatever it's called.
Yeah, game share.
When game share, My son wanted to play Helldivers with me. Well, that's a problem because I only have it physical and we cannot game share, when I have it physical. But when I have it digital, yes, he can install it. I can install it. So I was like, all right, let me take a look. At the PlayStation Store, the game doesn't drop below $30. Helldivers doesn't drop it before $30. Now there may have been an instance where it did, but I wasn't looking or I wasn't interested at the time. But I recollect not seeing that game under $30. But guess what? I went to GameStop, they had it for $24.99. So I picked up a second physical copy. It was cheaper than digital. And that's the other thing about physical market. Well, before I get into the physical pricing and all that real quick, and I'm gonna just zoom past this, is with this conversation, guys, and you canceling your PS Plus and boycotting on the comments, I want to be real with you. That's probably not going to change anything. PlayStation is going to continue with their plan because their greed and their hubris is so big that the whole world could let them know this is not good, and they're still going to do it because they have no competition. But as soon as they become all digital, that's when they do. And I hope that it hurts them later. It's not going to hurt them now, unless we all as a unit cancel our pre-orders for GTA, cancel our pre-order. You know what I'm saying? We do all that, which we're not because we're gamers. But if we go, or over the next year and a half, what's going to happen in physical pricing? And I'm already seeing some of this. I hope it's coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences, but I'm hoping it's coincidence. And for those of you guys that say, oh, no, Will, you're wrong. Listen here, bro. I bought 20 physical games last month. The game that Omar just recommended to me, Death and Request, I already bought the first game. It's already on the way. Okay.
Nice.
Every day, I am shopping games. Every day. I don't buy something every day, but every day I am shopping video games. I hit up all the major retailers. I hit up VGP, Loot Box Gaming every day. There isn't one day, whenever I turn my PlayStation on, I am looking at the PlayStation Store. Every day. The only alerts that I get on my phone from X is Warrior 64 when he posts sales. That is the only alert aside from my friends. The only one. I am in there every single day checking the market out, see how much it's costing, see how much it's going to cost. I got to the point that I'm so good at it that I can almost predict when a game is almost done at the end cycle of its sale and they're not going to do any more reprints. That's when I bought Alan Wake Remastered for the PS5 for $20. And lo and behold, 6 months later, even now, the game went up to $60, $70, $80, $90, $100 for a brand new copy of that game. Okay. That's how good I have gotten at this shit. So for the people that are out here saying, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, shut the fuck up. All right. So far, last month, I bought 20 plus. The reason I did is because every single one of those games was on sale. I mean, I got the whole Tales series for like each game for like 12, $13. Most of them through woot.com. Only Tales of Berseria, I think, cost me like 20 something. So far in the month of July, we're July 4th. There is no sales. I haven't seen any sales out there. Now, sure, you have a couple here and there of some games specifically. GameStop's running a buy two, get one, but that's every year like clockwork. But I haven't seen a whole bunch of sales yet. July 4th weekend is usually one of the biggest sales of the year, just like Memorial Day sale, Black Friday, shit like that.
Yeah, the sales
I
have been
haven't seen
trash
any.
this year.
So where are they? Where are they? So my theory is that we only have a year and a half. Everybody but PlayStation, and I'm saying but PlayStation knows, but PlayStation's going to act dumb. So you guys believe this 80-20 bullshit. The whole world knows that physical sales, everybody knows that everybody wants physical still, and they're going to start selling games closer to retail, take advantage of whatever time they have left of selling retail games. I hope I'm wrong because that's how 80% of my 700, almost 800 physical video game collection was built. Is games on sale. And we haven't seen that in the month of July yet. We haven't. So it's already starting to worry me. I just put up a video today on my channel on things that you should do to prepare yourself for the diskless future. One of them is learn how to maintain your fucking PS5. Learn how to fucking blow the dust out. Learn how to do soldering, how to, because this is the last console that's going to be disc. Okay. So when we talk about holding its value, the PlayStation 5 is going to be just that. If you can afford it, buy a replacement. I just bought a second or a third disk drive. PlayStation is already telling you on the PlayStation Store only one per customer because the demand is so high. Ain't that a bitch? PlayStation is selling out of disk drives and they're telling you one per customer, but they just told us that nobody buys digital anymore. You know what I mean? So it's, and look at this. War One just sent me this, according to, or Nelson sent me this, Pirate Nation. Now I don't know how true this is. This is what Omar was talking about, where he says this is coming right from the rules or whatever from PlayStation, and it says 21.1. You may close your account by contacting us using the details at section 28. 21.2. If you have not used your account for at least 36 months, we may take steps to close it. In that case, we will contact you via email address registered to your account and give you 6 months to either log into your account or contact us and tell us to keep your account open. After your account is closed, you will not be able to access the PlayStation online services or use the digital products purchased with that account. Account closure is irreversible. That is section 21.3. So I guess what Omar was saying is true. It says here PlayStation updated its term of service April 2026, and Section 21 outlines how inactive PSN accounts may be closed. So if you're not logging into your account in at least once every 3 years, they're going to close your shit and you lose out on all the digital games you have ever purchased. And they just updated that in April 2026. Now, this is based on a tweet from X, but I highly recommend you go and investigate that your damn self and read the fucking fine print because it's right here in front of my face. I'm going to do that after the podcast to verify. But it looks like a screenshot straight from PlayStation terms of service. If this doesn't let you know how evil PlayStation is and how against you they are, I don't know what to tell you. I just don't know what to tell you. Take care of your PS5. Get replaceable parts while you can get them. Otherwise, you're going to be in 2035, like shopping for a GameCube now, where it's so expensive. GameCube games are so expensive. Do that shit now while we have it. Stock up on your physical games if you're a physical gamer. Go to the store tomorrow. Buy the games that you want to buy. Start making a list of the shit that you need to have physically. Because once this fucking goes through, it's done. And I won't dive more into the dangers of digital because you guys are gonna, did a great job doing that. But remember, as time goes on, culturally things change. Okay, things that are acceptable now may not be acceptable later. Hellraiser is a game I'm excited for. Why did I say? Because it's the first adult game I've seen this console generation where there's nudity and adult themes and all that, right? If in 2030 something culturally happens where the word stupid is no longer socially acceptable, they can just patch the game and get rid of it. And if you own that game digitally, you will never ever be able to play that game as it came out, as it was intended, ever again. The only way you will be able to do that is with a physical copy of the game. Expedition 33, the developers thought that Mael, one of the main characters, was too overpowered. For a single player game, she was too overpowered. They went ahead and they patched it. If you're a digital gamer and you got that patch, which everybody did because a lot of people have their shit auto update or people just update their games without thinking about it, that's it. You can no longer play Mael as she came out as intended. You know who can, though? The physical gamers who got a copy of that game. All we got to do is delete the game, turn the internet off, install the game again, and play it exactly as intended.
Yeah,
Nintendo Switch
had
2.
my auto
That's what
stuff
we
turned
did.
off, and I played it that way, so I know what you mean.
I tried to do that, but then it updated itself. You know how I did it? I did it with Returnal. I never got that day one patch
So there
up
you go. Keep
until
it.
I closed to beating the game. And the second I got that day one patch, it happened because PlayStation what do you call it, updated itself or whatsoever and automatically downloaded that day one patch. I
And shout out
started
to
getting glitches and bugs.
Warwana who says on PC you have the choice to go down to older versions of a game. Console do not allow. I did not know that. So shout
Yeah,
out to
you I
War for
think
that
you can do
information.
that on
Yeah.
PC, but on console for some reason they don't let you.
Yeah, no, but well, of course not, because it's all about control in consoles, right? And we put up with it because the game. Look, for me personally, I don't want to not get a PS6. I want to get a PS6. I want to continue with a PS6. I want to continue with a PS7 all the way till I die. But the reason it's a little bit easier for me now to say fuck PlayStation, even though it's still very hard, is I'm gonna be real with you guys. The PlayStation first party titles, which is the stuff that I've always loved about PlayStation, just haven't been interesting to me as much in recent years. Morgan was there when I said it. PlayStation has been breaking my heart over the last 4 or 5 years. I'm disappointed with Ghost of Yote. I really wanted Jinsekai Part 2. I'm disappointed with Horizon and the live service game. I want a Horizon 3. Unfortunately, I'll probably never get that game physically ever. Um, I'm just disappointed in so many things that they have done. So not playing a PS6 with me, as much as it hurts, I'm okay with that because I respect myself more than my love for the hobby. Because I can still play games. I still have my PS5. I got multiple of them. I'm about to buy another PS5 Pro, so it's there. You know what I mean? And I'm cool with playing my library for the next 10, 15 years. And those day one games that I must play, I'll play on PC. I'll play on PC where I can play it, download it for a couple hours. If I don't like it, Steam will give me a refund. Or I can go to GOG, or I can just go to the Windows Store, or Epic Store, or whatever. I can shop for deals. I can go to CD Keys and get a better deal. You can't do that on PlayStation. So it's up to you guys to make the decision right now. But I'm gonna be real. PlayStation is probably not gonna go back on this. So go check out that video that I posted today. Stock up on what you currently have and keep an eye out on physical game prices because everybody, even the digital gamers that say fuck physical, some of them are gonna go out there, buy physical just to resell it later. The intent doesn't matter, okay, of why you're buying a physical game. They're gonna go out here try to take advantage of the situation because there's always opportunists. Shit, we see it all the time. And the other thing I was gonna say about the Switch too is for those of you guys who are still not believing anything I'm saying, look at Kingdom Hearts. If you bought Kingdom Hearts, the collection for the Nintendo Switch 1, you have until June 2027 to play that game. After that, Nintendo is taking it away from you. They're taking it away from you. No refund, no
Really?
nothing. And the only thing they're gonna do for you is they're gonna give you a discount on your next purchase of the Kingdom Hearts Switch 2 edition. And we don't
What
even
the
know what that
actual
discount
fuck?
is. They haven't even told us what the discount is for that. That is the amount of control these console makers currently have with the digital games. How do you kind of fight that with physical? So when I say why is PlayStation doing this for control and money? Thank you guys so much for letting me rant out for this long ass time. I'll shut up now.
It's all good, man. Weeb, go ahead and jump in.
Oh man, yeah, you really took the wind off my sails with that one.
I'm sorry,
Um,
bro. Morgan did the same to me. She took the wind out of my sail too.
yeah,
My bad, my bad.
yeah, but yeah. First of all, glad to have you on the show because I kind of feel lonely as being a mostly physical gamer on this podcast. Um, but yeah,
You're
I
not.
mean,
And a
I'm
vinyl
a
collector.
physical gamer. How fucking dare you?
yeah, but
Bro,
you're
you
also
you
playing
recently became one. Don't even do that.
yeah,
No, no,
yeah.
no, no. I have always been one. I became digital when I joined you.
Omar,
When
if
I
all
Yeah.
the
game chat
games were
with you.
cheaper digital,
Afterwards,
you wouldn't purchase shit physical, so hush.
nah.
Yeah.
I have
Omar,
always
Omar,
been
Omar,
physical.
Omar,
There
Omar.
is a reason why I bought a.
Another time, Omar.
Okay, fine, fine. Bye.
All right. No, yeah. I mean, like I said at the intros, this week, as soon as they announced it, this was like, fuck you, Sony. Like, fuck you. Like, I mean, I love the owning my games. I love buying physical, and I don't trust Sony for one bit. With my collection being one mouse click away from being inaccessible to me because I violated something, some terms of service. Some idiot at their help desk fell for the old social hacking bullshit, and then I'm somehow without my game collection. So yeah, fuck them for doing this. And yeah, uh, I'm with you there that I don't think they're gonna reverse this because yeah, they've already taken the steps, to repurpose their only factory that's making those games. Though I can't say don't try. Like the whole stink we're giving them right now. Like they didn't expect this. No, they have been quiet. that even their other stuff, like they were trying to advertise their Spider-Man movie, and all the comments were like, yeah, fuck your Spider-Man movie, give her physical games back, they're yeah, they're hurting from this. And I think like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's not just a greed move, also a desperation move, because yeah, they know that they're not going to sell as many PlayStations next generation because of the thing's going to be allegedly $1,000. So yeah, nobody's gonna, or nobody at least there's gonna, like, we've seen this generation already how hard it is to move people from the old console to new one, and now like they're expecting people to jump on that console. Like, sure, I'll trade my PS5 and like and this is like even the worst part. Like, yeah, if it's not a physical, it doesn't have a disc drive, then yeah, who's gonna trade in their PS5 or the PS5 Pro with a disc drive? Like, if it doesn't have a disc drive and you have a physical collection, like how are you gonna play those? So they're gonna leave behind they're gonna leave behind an entire generation of gamers, and yeah, and that's kind of the thing, is like it's not as black and white as if everybody buys only physical or only digital. Like, a lot of people have a mixed collection, or people even double dip and say, yeah, I want to buy. I played that game digitally and I want to buy it physically because I like it so much and want to own it. And that's kind of the problem you're going to face, because if you're going to tell people, yeah, you can only take your digital collection with you, and yeah, your physical collection, yeah, we have a device for that. It's called a PS5. Yeah, good luck convincing people to buy into your next console. Like, there's so much uh, there that I'm like, well, again, that like they're anticipating they're gonna sell less due to the hardware prices, and sort of trying to maximize their profits, but they're so underestimating the effect of this. Like you said, like there's so many, like they're so understating that the revenue they're making from those physical games, but they're also understating or dismissing the added effect of that, because like, okay, you that 1 billion or whatever revenue you have for physical sales, like, don't expect that to just become digital when you're removing that option. Like, there are a lot of people who indeed, like us, like, love physical games and are not necessarily just gonna accept this and move to the PS6 all digital future. Like we're gonna look for different avenues. Like I've said that, like, if this is if they're gonna go through with this, like, next generation, like, the only, if I buy PS6, the only reason would be for exclusives. But then it's gonna turn into that, that what I now currently have a Switch 2 for. That's for the exclusives. But the Switch 2 is now looking far more attractive as being a main console. Like, if there are games that just run properly, like Pragmata runs properly. Yes, it looks better on PlayStation, but like, if Pragmata 2 is going to be all digital on PlayStation, but has a physical release on Switch 2, I might consider going for that. And we see that despite Switch having the game card keys, and all the controversies surrounding that, they seem to be pulling back from that, because apparently, not surprisingly, sales of game card keys are relatively disappointing compared to having a cartridge with the actual game on it. So we see that more and more publishers are actually going for the full game on cartridge now. So that's a positive trend, and I think Nintendo could really just ride that wave and say, okay, like, they were clearly attempting to also go all digital, but now they could ride that wave and see, oh yeah, we are becoming the safe haven for people who want to have physical games. So we're just going to double down on that, because clearly PlayStation is no longer that place to be. And for me, like, and for anything else, like, yeah, no, PC is definitely, like, I used to have a game PC in the past. When it broke down, I was considering building a new one, but then I was like, okay, PlayStation's fine. I have a Steam Deck. I basically can access any game I want. And now I'm like, yeah, but that's on an assumption that PlayStation is my primary platform. That's not going to be the case with the 6 if it's going to be an all digital console. then yeah, I might have it for the exclusives, but for actually buying all the third party games that are their money makers, where they're getting the most of the revenue from. Yeah, no, that's not going to be my main. Why the hell would I buy a game I don't own in a store where they're charging me probably 20, 10, 30, whatever bucks more than whatever Steam is charging me. And of
Exactly.
course, a GOG, which has DRM free games, so at least in that regards, I could own it. I can make a digital copy. I can put it on a hard drive. Effectively, I have the game and have it backed up. And if GOG goes out, or CDPR goes out of business, or they decide to remove the game or whatever, they cannot deny me access to the game. I don't need GOG to play that game. That game, is DRM free. I can use it and play it wherever I want. So that seems to be a very viable option. And that thing is like, yeah, regardless of what they do, they kind of broke my heart in that sense, that I'm like, yeah, the honeymoon is over. Like, I'm not, I can't trust you anymore. And you know I don't really feel like investing in PlayStation anymore. Like, yeah, I mean, I always kind of reluctant getting PlayStation Plus, because I'm like, what I'm actually using it for, because I don't play online, and like, the game offering isn't great. I don't really play those games, or I already own them. And I was like, yeah, no, well, yeah, I have zero incentive now to renew it, or re-subscribe in the future. Like, yeah, no, fuck them. And same extent, like, yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I kind of lost that love for them. Like, now it's just, it's a piece of hardware that plays exclusives, and I don't really care for it much else. So yeah, my investments in PlayStation are probably going to be the bare minimum that I need to keep it running. And I'm not gonna, yeah, treat it as my primary place to play. And that's, yeah. I know my change in how yeah how I game won't affect their bottom line as much as I would hope. But on the other hand, I don't think I'm alone. I've seen lots of people
Mm-hmm.
saying that
And
they're
that's the
gonna
key.
move to Twitch, or go to PC. Some people even just said, I'm gonna stop modern gaming. I'm just gonna play my retro games, my old games. Yeah, I mean, the effect of this, I think, is gonna be much worse than they anticipate. But they probably knew that they're gonna lose some people, but I think they're gonna lose so many more people than so much more revenue than we hope. That's also why they tactically announce it now, because then they don't have to report it to the shareholders right away, that they see a drop in their in their revenue, because people cancel the subscription, etc. You know, which probably will have a noticeable effect. I mean, it's probably not enough for them to reconsider, but probably will have a short-term effect, and will have a lasting long-term effect for the PS6. This might very well be their PS3 moment, where they're getting so arrogant that they thought they had in the back. No, Xbox is clearly doing the same thing. They're also announced they don't have a disk drive, or at least I think there are strong rumors that they don't have a disk drive for the next console, and they're in turmoil. And but like, to me, it's like, okay, PlayStation, the only thing you had to do was just announce a PS6, say it's exactly the same as a PS5. You have a disk drive, no option, whatever. And yeah, it's just a bit more powerful, and that's it. And they would have won next generation. Now they're basically giving Xbox a chance, because even though Xbox is doing the same, they have this initiative where they say, yeah, apparently that you can make a digital copy of your physical game. So yeah, I do kind of wonder how user friendly it is, because I have so many physical games. Like, how the hell are you gonna how much time it's going to take me to digitize those, and I kind of like, why just not? Why don't you just give us a disk drive so we can just play the game, you know? But but yeah, it is what it is, I guess. But I don't think PlayStation has that option. I don't think they're gonna offer that option. So that in that sense, Xbox just by doing nothing really not now becomes more appealing, because if they're both doing it, but one at least gives you some semblance of, hey, you can carry at least your physical games with you in some way. Yeah, that does give them an edge, you know. And like I said, Nintendo can just double down on their physical games, and they can just reap the benefits from that. And yeah, you know, PC gaming, like that's kind of thing. Yeah, sure, you know, PC gaming is more expensive now, the higher prices. But yeah, and in the end, like that affects everything. Like if you can opt to buy $1,000 console, or you know, buy a PC for a couple $1,000 more. That's better than that console. You know, has cheaper games. So I think that investment probably will be worth it in a couple of years, where if you buy a lot of games, like if you can save 10, 20, $30 on every game, I'm sure that will pay itself back. And yeah,
Absolutely.
as said before, like if you're a digital only gamer or mostly digital and you think this doesn't affect you, of course it is going to affect you. Like it's going to give them that monopoly position that they're having accused of for all this time, because they will literally have a monopoly because there's only one store you can buy their games, and there's nothing stopping them from saying, yeah, and then now it's, you thought $80 was, now our games are $90. What are you going to do about it? Where are you going to go? You know,
Hey, hey, Sheriff, can I say something real quick
sure.
that you brought up? And there's also the people who say, well, you guys must have known that, digital's coming. Well, number one, no, we didn't know, because, I mean, we knew based on the social conversations, but no, we didn't also know because we do buy physical. We see others buy physical, and PlayStation's financials told us that we buy physical. But the other thing too is, everybody that I've spoken to, and just to kind of give you a reminder of the amount of people I've spoken to in the last couple of days, I charge my cell phone once a day. I charge it at night while I'm playing video games. I go to bed. I don't leave it charged in. I take it out. I go upstairs, go to bed. I wake up, and that phone lasts me all day till I start playing games again at night. I sometimes charge it twice when I record videos. In the last 2 days alone, I have charged my cell phone between 6 and 10 times. And guys, I mean 100% to fucking 7, 8, 10%. All right. That's how much I've been on social media. So much so that it's been taking up my gaming time, because I'm talking to people back and forth, people DMing me. I mean, I gained 100 subscribers in a day. I was at 4,400. I just celebrated 4,400 on Monday, I think it was, or Sunday. I gained 100 in a day. So when I talk to gamers, when did you think digital would have been the thing? Everybody says the same shit. Everybody says, I for sure thought that during the PS6 gen, it's what they would have told us. Hey, this is the last gen for digital. Just giving you a heads up, giving us the whole console generation. And we would have all been okay with it and cool with it. But what this ended up doing is, not only do we not want physical to go away, we don't want physical going away forever. Now we were going to settle with just one more console generation of physical, and then yeah, we'll make do. We'll continue. Now it's either you give us physical every single generation here on out, or not.
And
Especially if the numbers stay the same
yeah,
way.
and here's the
Because
thing, like when I was thinking about it, like we were all kind of were sort of eased into that position that, yeah, it's inevitable, it's going to happen sometime, and now we're sort of have this sort of wake up call where it's like, does it actually have to be inevitable? Because the thing is, like, sure, you know, there's a disparity, but it doesn't mean that physical will somehow naturally disappear. That at some point everybody buys digital. Like, no, you will always have people buying physical. And the thing is, I'm very convinced that if Sony hadn't announced this and just said the PS6 is going to be, it can support both, that you would have an equilibrium where there's always going to be that significant chunk of gamers that buy physical. And the thing is, like, I yeah, people draw comparisons like with other media, like, okay, like, what about movies? There's still Blu-rays. There's still in the same extent you have Criterion Collection
Finals, big comeback.
finals, books. You know,
Yeah.
we still have physical books. Like, why can't we have physical games? Why are we somehow trying to convince ourselves that it's inevitable that it has to be all digital? Why?
And
The,
even the one publisher that I told you about, fuck, I forgot their name already. The boutique one, even
Hmm.
they only publish
Good.
like 5 to 10 games a year, and they're all very boutique, very artistic. They take their time. They do special collector's edition that are
Yeah.
hundreds of dollars, and they sell out. So even in that sense, it can still continue. And look, for people that say, well, then you got to pay more, my guy, physical gamers already pay more. Resident Evil Requiem. How many gamers got their physical copy a week after release, 2 weeks after release? Why? Because it's sold out. So these retailers sold more than they had, and we had to wait. But in
Yeah.
general, I got to go to limited run games. I got to go to all these other venues. Play Asia. I never bought shit from Play Asia. Now I am. So Paradox, the octopus game from Konami. I pre-ordered that game on Play Asia back in February. I won't get it till November. I'm paying $50 for that game. I'm already paying more, and I'm already waiting 6 months. Mouse PI is coming out next week.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's played it, so we already been
Yeah,
waiting.
I have that too. I
I'm
prepared the
Yeah,
getting
House Collector's
physical.
Edition.
It's for
Yeah.
30 bucks. Yeah.
I'm getting
Yeah.
2 collector's edition of Mouse PI. So if anybody needs one who couldn't get one, send me a DM. I'll
Mhm.
sell it to you for whatever cost is, which I think is like $50, and I'll ship it to you. So pay cost and shipping, I'll send it to you. But I thought that I only got one, but I ended up getting 2 on accident. But when they say what are solutions, that is a solution. But why would it never work with PlayStation? Because PlayStation wants their hands in everything that they touch. And the other thing too is, just imagine if Chicago, New York, LA, Dallas, Orlando, Miami, some of the bigger cities. Imagine if PlayStation opened up a brick and mortar store and they allowed you to trade in physical games like GameStop. You can trade and sell physical games. You're telling me uh PlayStation wouldn't make a killing doing that? Of
that
course they would.
that,
But
that
they
that's
don't
kind
want.
yeah, that's kind of the thing as well with the thing where people say, yeah, the trade in, right, the second hand games, yeah, they don't earn any money off it, but do they? Because somebody has to buy that game first for them to be able to trade it in, and
Yeah.
people trade it in for store credit, whatever, and then buy a new game for it. So uh,
Mhm.
if you take away that option, there will be a lot of people who basically are now unable to buy games. Like they didn't, they're not buying games physically for no reason. Like they're doing it because it's more affordable than doing digital games. And if you're paying like the full price for any digital game, like the whatever the $80 retail price. I never pay that price because I order pretty much everything physically, and I always will find a cheaper price. I always have 10,
Yeah,
20
we get close
for
to 20,
yeah
sometimes 30 euro discount.
for
Legit.
n-
No joke.
yeah, for new games, because there's competition, because these stores need to compete with each other, and that they'll just take a cut on their margin, and they're able to sell their games that way. You take away that option, and for a lot of people that might mean, okay, I have less money to buy games now, so instead of buying for I think like I can probably buy 4 games for every 2 games I would buy on a digital store for full price. Like, so that will have an effect because people will simply spend less. And you already have the problem that apparently the average gamer only buys 2 full price games a year. Okay, so and that's who you're basically placating. That's who you're going after, instead of the hardcore gamers who spend hundreds of dollars a year, maybe thousands on games. And yeah, and these people like to have physical games, and it doesn't indeed matter what your split is in terms of how many are you buy digitally or physically. Like taking away that option, makes a difference, because at least if you have the option to buy physically, people have some sort of sense of, okay, I have ownership. even if they don't have any ownership over their digital collection. If you take that away, then people are like, okay, what am I left with? I think, and again, I think that the effect will be much bigger than they anticipate. Like, I will expect a massive outflux of gamers going to see. And again, like Morgan said, that's probably the reason why they pulled their exclusive from PC, because if they didn't, then people will have literally zero reason to buy a PS6 because it's
Exactly.
Mhm.
a less powerful
And
PC.
they're willing to eat it as well. Like apparently, Dokkan, that marble fighting game, is banned from 130 countries
I wouldn't say
because
it's unavailable.
they,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm listening to you guys, and I'm legit asking myself this question: what is then the solution? Because you guys are saying now you guys went from accepting all digital to now wanting oh every gen to be still physical. I'm like,
Well, a
is that
solution that I think it will be good with a majority of people is simple. Continue with your digital PS6. Give us the option to buy a disk drive. That is it. I mean,
okay? But
PlayStation
let's
just
say
doesn't.
okay, but let me ask you this. Let's say they do this now. Do we give them props? Do we need
No,
to?
no.
But
We
do
keep
we
attacking
need?
them. And the other thing that we really need to be doing outside from physical, this, but I think physical is going to bring this argument back up, and we should have been fighting for this for years. As soon as they went digital with the PS3, better consumer rights.
Yeah,
That is
but
the biggest
you
need.
only get that when the big
Yeah,
people jump in,
get
which
involved.
is government.
But they jump in
Apparently,
when we say
Hey,
something, which is why it's happening now.
Hey, Stop Killing Games started, which never existed before. I just saw a
yeah,
tweet
but
from
that shit flops now. It couldn't
It is not
get past.
over. It is not
it is
over.
not
That's
over
not
yet,
that's not how that works. You just
and
because
not just
something
that.
fails to pass doesn't mean it's over. You revert, you come back, and it was only short 3 votes, by the way. Like
Yeah,
it wasn't
Okay,
like
gotcha.
yeah, and that was with zero backing. So yeah,
Mm.
it's
yeah.
definitely not over.
Yeah, they kind of started the same year and they went there the same year and they were only short. But not just that, in the Netherlands, I think it's the Netherlands, one of the European countries,
Yeah, it is
PlayStation's going
another
through a
land.
Netherlands. So basically, what what developers were doing is they charge you $70 for the game, but then they include the 30% that PlayStation would get. So I forget what 30% of 70 is. I think it's like 15 or $20 or something like that. So the retail price for a game instead of being 70, it was like 80 or $85. That way the developer can continue getting the same money, right? So that's not saying that's a solution, but going back to
That's
your
what
Stop
we
Killing Games
paying
thing,
now per game. 80.
no, that's what we're gonna pay now, and you're gonna continue until something is done. But this politicians from the Netherlands, and once again, it failed the United States. It's still going on in other countries. PlayStation is a
Yeah, it
worldwide
is.
company, so it needs it's you know the problem is in general with the politicians is that they view video games as a kid's toy, right? They think that if you are a gamer, you are either immature, neck beard. As a matter of fact, you should stop playing video games, go get married, have kids, buy a house. You know what I mean? That's what they think.
Yeah,
So
the
it
whole
takes
stigma.
the whole thing. And the real thing that stopped the Stop Killing Games thing is the amount of money and backing that the industry has. They went out there with their representatives. I mean, look what happening to Minecraft. They're saying that it's illegal. It is considered piracy if you use their own servers to have your little communities and shit. Like that is how extreme they want. They're trying to milk everything. But going back to your original question, what is a compromise? I honestly don't even think that people want to get physical PS6 games. I really don't even think that's the issue here. The issue is people want to continue playing the library that they have now into the PS6 generation. So if there's some sort of USB disk drive that we can hook up and play our collection and continue to buy the games that are already available, I think people would have been generally happy with that
No, I
compromise.
don't think they would been happy because of the current situation with PlayStation.
Well, now
How
they're not.
the refund policy is one of the
Yeah.
one, like
Well,
stuff
now they're
like
not.
that. Also, the biggest one, which is not the PlayStation, Xbox Two, they can take away your account.
Hey, that's me. That's me. Everybody took everything else. This is mine, please. Let me have this
Yeah,
one.
but
So, to Weeb's point, this announcement about death of the physical is probably their PS3 fuck up moment all over again. Where they tell you to go get a second job. Let's hope that's not the case, but it seems like they're going in that direction. Um, Technically, for Will's numbers, when he was given the 70 million physical copies sold, he's right. They're acting like these numbers were from 2001, 1999. They're not. They're 3 years ago. 3 years
Last
ago.
year.
Last year even.
Yeah.
So why? I want to know, why are they trying to speed this up so quickly? And you're right. It's greed. And unfortunately, that's what PlayStation is now, mostly Western ownership. Unfortunately, that's the way the Western goes. Is like Chick-fil-A, Pizza Hut. They're good when they first come out. They're nice and fresh. They're crisp, and then by year three, they're soggy. They take shortcuts. They use preservatives that they didn't use before. They use food coloring they didn't use before, and the product is. I remember when Popeye's chicken sandwiches came out, and I was wondering why people were fighting over them. And I got one. And I was like, "Holy shit,
Me
this is
too.
amazing!" Then about 6 months later, I went to get one. It was significant. It was like 30% smaller. The bread was soggy. They put it in a preheated microwave aluminum bag versus having it being freshly wrapped. Unfortunately, Western companies tend to start to take shortcuts to try to save money, and that's the way business is. They start, they gain rise and fandom and profit. They hit a peak, and then they start going downhill. Um, and I know this generation is the generation they made the most money ever, but it seems like they're starting that downhill slide now. I am 95% digital. I am a part of the problem. However, I stand with people who do physical because in the future, like, they need to play their stuff. But the same thing can be said for people who go full digital. Okay, imagine this. What am I supposed to do if the internet is out for long periods of time? I got to have these games already downloaded somewhere because I can't access the PlayStation downloadable store to get to them. What if that becomes a permanent thing? Okay, so now I have, not only do I have to have an 8 terabyte hard drive to hold all my games, but I don't know about you guys, but I've had my hard drives don't last more than 5, 6 years. They go corrupt, or I try to plug them in, and excuse me, I can't get to anything. So what am I supposed to do? Back up the shit every 3 to 4 years on the latest hard drive technology? Um, I
That's
need
expensive.
even though physical people need their way to have a USB disk drive to play theirs, us digital people got to be able to preserve the shit that we paid for. Because, like whatchamacallit said, I don't like my library being a mouse click away from, oh, you can't have it anymore. That shit's annoying. And that's pretty much all I had. I waited so long to say that.
No, you're good. Um,
Man, we should have cut in, man.
yeah, no.
Uh, uh,
I agree with you though. Like that's why I keep telling people the reaction isn't so much about right now because we have the options right now. The reactions are about the lack
the future.
of the commitments that PlayStation failed to set in motion with that announcement. And that's where Morgan was saying it was disrespectful because you basically came out and told us, "Hey, this is what you're going to do and you're going to get no benefits from it, but we're going to
Yep.
benefit and we're going to, cut costs and we're going to do all these things. But what are you doing for me? Where are my assurances going into the future with this setup? Because if you're telling me to get fucked, I'm going to tell you I'm going somewhere else. Like, and that's the problem, right? Again, like I stated, people do not take this seriously enough, and a lot of people who report on PlayStation that I respect, mind you, like Colin Moriarty and them, I respect them. Like that man knows PlayStation backwards and forwards, but what he doesn't know is PC. And that's the stuff I've been warning about this entire time. We need to stop acting like your consumers ain't got options. Yes, right now everything is up, right? We're talking about this device launching late 2027 into 2028. Mitigating factors are already happening at Samsung and several subsidiaries, including a new DRAM player that's coming onto the market. This stuff is going to fluctuate, it is going to stabilize, and then it is going to begin to go lower. So if by the time no one is there's no guarantee for PlayStation that by the time they get ready to launch their system that a 15, we're back to $1,500, $1,600, um, PCs that can really compete at the mid high end, which is what most people are plenty satisfied with. Like Will was saying, he could play most of his stuff already 1440p, 120 frames, and I've explained that to people. That with PC, 1440p will often get you the same fidelity that you're used to seeing at 4K when you're playing at max settings. Like there's a lot of things that people have as options out here that they're looking at us like we don't. Where are you going to go? And I'm not telling you some people are not going to play PlayStation till they're buried in the ground. I don't want that. The same way I didn't want Xbox in the ground, but that was the choices they made, right? They're dealing with the fallout of the choices they made and the freedom that they gave those developers without checks and balances, right? That's the result of that. We're all very aware of the failure of checks and balances right now, those of us that live in the United States. Those of us that don't even live here, y'all are aware of the failure going on with the failure of checks and balances in the United States. Everybody knows the failure of that right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're basically living with a tyrant at this point. But that's my point, is like a company that believes they get in there, they believe they are too big to fail, is the next one up. I'm telling you. Like, and I don't want that, right? Like, I want PlayStation to succeed. I want them to get their shit together. I want them to get this stuff tight, and I want them to become a better company for it. But I'm not going to do that at the cost of my gaming and my consumer rights. And that's their issue, right? When you've got other companies doing it better, like Will said in the beginning, if you're forcing me down this digital path with no recourse here and no course correction, then and I'm looking at you and you're the worst option, why would I continue with you again outside of your few exclusives if you even offer me something come next gen that I even want? Because like I said, this gen, most of their mistakes have been covered up by the fact that every time they take a finger, Microsoft blows their head off. Like, so it's like, yeah, like it's such an extreme contrast, right? Everybody forgets, the finger because, well, Microsoft just keeps committing, suicide repeatedly, right? Like, so of course, it doesn't seem as crazy, and they keep getting covered up and they keep riding past these, plus, their third party deals that they have in place, and stuff with the China Hero project and some of these other things. Like they have other investments that are helping them mitigate their first party shortcomings, but that's not going to be maintainable when you've got a lot of these third party people looking at, these other platforms more favorably, right? Square is no longer a de facto exclusive. Sega neither. All these other companies. So it's like PlayStation really is in a weird place right now where this is the moment where you decide, do you want another 100 million sales when come PS6, or are you looking to go the way that Xbox did when they dropped to, they went from their 88 million to about 50 million, and then we saw the result of that the very next generation that they decided to stick around, 30 to 35 million, and now it's completely unsustainable. It's a mess, and that's where they're
Hey,
going to
Nate,
be. Yeah, what's up?
quick question, because I've been rattling something in my head. It's got nothing to do with physical.
Yeah.
And anybody here can maybe inject here, but I thought it was weird a little weird over the last, especially the summer game fest, state of play, all that, where Shift Up with Stellar Blade, they didn't, they didn't use PlayStation for the announcement. They didn't use PlayStation,
I
for
said
marketing or none of
that.
that stuff.
I
And the other
legit
thing
said
too
that.
is Capcom with Resident Evil. They've kind of been parting ways a little bit.
Yep.
So Mike, and look, I'm sure other stuff could be explained
And
because of
Final
this and that or
Fantasy, the
whatever.
biggest one, Final Fantasy,
But
like
isn't that a little weird?
PlayStation is
Not just
losing their
because
grip.
yes, and not just that, the thing that always tied, and not me, because obviously, I just started with the JRPGs, but you can get these JRPGs on PC. What I'm trying to say is, not only is there hubris with the gamers at an all-time high, but it
Hmm.
seems like with developers too. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just looking at things, right? But then the thing that kept people going to PlayStation, those JRPGs, you don't need PlayStation no more for that at all. You can even get them in
No, I don't.
Xbox now. So
I don't disagree with you. I've actually said and told people for a while now that the biggest thing that was quietly happening while everybody was focusing on the PlayStation and Xbox was that PC was quietly gaining ground in places where previously it had none or it was very weak. And one of those was JRPGs, but now they have more than ever. They're almost at parity. And in some cases, they have some that are
No, they have
nowhere
more than
else.
PlayStation.
We're not gonna make definitive statements. We do not have, sir. So, like I said,
They get
sir,
they get more unique. Like for
sir.
example, some games are not on PlayStation but they are on PC, something like that.
I didn't say that.
JRPG.
I said it's not parody. There are games on PlayStation that are not on there. So
Yeah,
that's
they
why
are as well.
I said I'm not gonna make a definitive statement. But they do have titles, like I said, like the 100 Line Defense Academy, that is only on
Yeah,
Switch and then it's on PC. So they do have titles like that. They were one of the first ones to get some of the other titles that were on Switch as well. So again, they are now more than ever becoming a viable platform for, even like you said, JRPG. And I know a couple JRPG guys that have switched a couple years ago and they main PC. Some of them 100. One of the guys I know, it's one of the bigger ones. He's 100% PC. So, and that has become a much more viable thing, right? Sega has come over, and then one of the ones that has been the most resistant to PC. Not all their stuff would be JRPGs and stuff, but one of Weeb's favorite, Vanillaware. Vanillaware
yeah.
has spoken out
I was
about
about
wanting
to
to come to
mention it.
PC, and they've already started. Like their upcoming release is gonna release,
Demon Blade.
yeah, on PC. So it's like, again, someone who was super resistant has now said, "Hey, look, as long as Sega foots the bill, we will release on PC." This is coming from a company that previously 100% said they had no plans of going on PC, touching PC, going nowhere near it. So that's another thing to consider, that again, PlayStation is not really honestly paying attention to or really taking seriously, if you ask me. And like I said, a lot of people are doing that because they're looking at the cost or the expense, but again, they're not looking at all the benefits. And I'm not going to tell you can't get some of these games on sale. Weeb and them managed to get some of their physicals on sale in that competition. But like we said, if you go next gen and you remove that, and you don't have all these other things in place like Green Man Gaming, CD keys, and whatnot for PlayStation, then all of a sudden, all those day one discounts are exclusively on PC and potentially on Xbox, because they already got that stuff in there. Even Nintendo's games digitally are sold on some of these sites, but the only one is not PlayStation. And that's what I'm saying. Like they're running into some serious issues, and coming out like this as if they're the only game in town is crazy to me. And I'm telling you, this is going to be I don't want to be the I told you so person. I really don't want this. I don't want to be I told you so on this. I don't want
No,
to. But
we
I'm going to be if PlayStation doesn't straighten up.
we are literally witnessing it though. Everything that I've been complaining about, we're now actually seeing the labor of it. Again, the old PlayStation would have never moved like this way. when I saw Final Fantasy, Stellar Blade, all these games keeping a PlayStation showcase, like that's unheard of with that move, and now with what they're doing here, like the new leadership, I'm absolutely not only not a fan, I'm detesting that person. I'm legit detesting that person. We're gonna talk about it next week, cause that's what we're gonna bring up the other topics. Mm, but I would say this: um, we know PlayStation have a couple of lawsuits, um, because of monopoly or and the sales of their games and stuff like that. Do you think that's gonna make them lose the case, or because of this whole physical situation, we could get a better protection law out of it? I know some people have made comments. A former, I think, former president of France. Don't quote me on that. I need to read it again. But I do know there is a Brazilian lawmaker that is looking into it. There is also Europe like is gonna what on Twitter they're gonna look into that as well. So my question is the protection gonna come from PlayStation winding the fuck up? But at that point, do you even trust them anymore? Or do we absolutely now need to have laws introduced to protect us, the consumers? Because at this point, it just can't go on further like that.
I mean, regardless of PlayStation alone, you still need better consumer protection laws for digital rights and digital rights management. You still need that. So they're not the only ones; they're just the worst ones at it right now. So
Yeah,
whether it comes directly on the backs of the mess that PlayStation is in, or it comes as a universal law, which is definitely capable, which again has been enacted, and even Apple couldn't fight that stuff when universal laws come into play. So yes, I mean they're still going to happen in some form or fashion, but when it happens and how fast it happens and how it's handled is going to be the key factor. If it's too late, if it's too little, too late, you're going to have, like I said, if you already got a bunch of people on PC and a bunch of people making the move, you're not going to get a bunch of people back. That's the danger of being slow and being unresponsive as a larger company. You are going to lose too many people, and there's a threshold and there's a point when you eventually do lose too many people. And another thing that we are aware of, when people start to make a move, their friends start to make a move. So again, like I said, gradually over the course of this is one of the most critical moments for PlayStation between now and the launch of the PS6, and honestly, the industry as a whole, from a hardware standpoint, and a number of things. So you're going to see a lot of things happen, a lot of new laws be born as legislators and stuff start to understand some of this stuff, because that's part of the issue right now, right? You usually don't see a lot of movement and things like that when they don't understand what they're getting into. But as the people raise the concerns and start to point out and show them where the issues are, where the cracks are, that is when they can really have a say, or they can actually have ammo to go against them. And PlayStation's initial shot like this is only just one of them. So there's going to be a lot more. There's going to be a lot more discussions on this and things in the future to come. But yeah, make no mistake, PlayStation themselves, as far as PlayStation goes, their response to this is extremely critical. And I think they definitely, as we've all said, severely underestimated, uh, or they've severely underestimated the backlash and the issues that came with that announcement, the way that they did. Like I said, no assurances being the main problem, right? And I agree with Will. Like most people kind of were like, PS7, yeah, we don't expect it to go that far. But now
No,
the fight is becoming a lot more of a thing and a lot more of an issue, because also when you're talking about going fully digital and you're talking about the hardware constraints we're in right now, like Viper said, his hard drive and his drives don't last forever. You can't, like, some people can afford it, but most gamers cannot come out here and afford, several $100 drives well above what they're worth. So that has to have a mitigating factor as well. So that's why I said over time, you're going to see what happens with hardware and what happens with digital consumer rights. And the combination of those things and who handles it best is honestly who's going to come out on top. And right now,
yeah,
the default choice and the person who's got the best benefit, because they don't have to change anything, is Steam. And that's the problem for all these other guys, is they've got to look at how to handle these things, because they've got to sell you the hardware still, and they've got to get you on their platform. But
the,
Steam does not have to sell you anything.
the crazy part about this, and I truly believe this, if Microsoft made this announcement, I don't think we would have seen the backlash that we're now seeing, and for one simple reason. Um, it's not console war, it's just who is the market leader right now. PlayStation is the market leader. When PlayStation moves, the industry moves the same way. And listen, so if Microsoft was the one that said, okay, we're killing physical, we would have said, oh, okay, that's on them. They're shooting themselves in the foot. We have PlayStation that's still doing physical. We're good. But because PlayStation is the one that is starting this whole mess, again, I am not stupid. I'm fully aware that the industry is heading this way. But with how things are, with how inept PlayStation to what do we call it? The refund policies, their entire the fact that we as consumers we just don't have any protection whatsoever. This is what's scary about it, and it's gonna continue being scary until we get an actual resolution, and that by lawmakers, because we're far gone from just simply having PlayStation Word or Xbox Word. That they're not gonna do that anymore because we hurt them where it hurt, and they're gonna try it next time with something different. We are now at a point where we absolutely need to have lawmakers involved. Otherwise, we would be at the mercy of these companies, and these companies are out there to fuck us.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like I said, it doesn't happen overnight. Like I said, a lot of these politicians and stuff don't always understand it at first, but they also didn't understand the need for USB-C at first. And now everything is we have universal USB-C law to make everybody, including Apple, capitulate to that. They also didn't understand the issues going on with the app stores that were going on at the time, that were limiting deployment and things going on, especially in the Apple Store, but also Google Play Store. And that also has laws now put in place to stop them from basically shutting down companies in particular manners and overcharging and doing a lot of things and bad practices that they were doing. So again, like, politicians are definitely not the best people on the planet. European Trade Commission is definitely on everybody's ass like they're supposed to be. So whether it comes from Europe, whether it comes here first, what have you, once a law, as you guys have seen it, usually goes into play from a lot of those areas, it will basically become a law that is enforced everywhere, and that is what they're essentially in danger of running into, as they should be. So I think that's what we're going to see in the future, and that's what we're going to see come of everything. And yeah, we'll see what happens from here. But yeah, Omar, did you have anything else you wanted to add
No,
before we?
no, no. I've been talking the entire time. Let's end it.
Cool. All right, like I told you guys, like this was the big one. That's why I covered it first because I was like, I wanted everybody to shoot their shot and really get the information out here. And we had a lot to talk about in regards to, and the conversation is still not over. Like I said, you
No.
guys are going to see a lot of things happen and a lot of consumer rights evolve as people become aware of this and the issues that are plaguing it. And it's like, again, like it's not just us, right? A lot of these people have people directly in their lives that are going to be affected by these, and that's why they're aware of these things. I famously mentioned one of the big things that people ask, now it's like it's very obvious, right? But a lot of people weren't aware of how Netflix, had did something. This was something more mundane, but how Netflix got into anime, and they got into anime almost before everybody else. And the main reason they did is because the CEO of Netflix at the time, his son simply asked him, "Why do you run the biggest, media distributor in the country, or in the world, and you don't have anime? Do you not realize how big it is?" And overnight, they basically started looking into it. They put some anime on there. It skyrocketed, and $3 billion plus later, Netflix is one of the biggest investors in anime globally.
And they create and they not create. They publish anime. No other company do. Like for example, JoJo, they're doing it. Bucky, they're doing it. Uh,
Exactly.
so
Hey, and Disney.
it
I
is
just watched an anime from
crazy.
Disney.
Yeah, yeah.
It is
They
absolutely
started to get, they
crazy.
got into it late, but yeah, like they
Hmm.
saw how big it was for everybody else, and then everybody else started jumping in, which again, not always the funnest thing, but what it, because obviously you've witnessed the fragmentation that creates when everybody's vying for competition. But the good thing is that it makes sure there's so much investment to go around that everything that you could even dream of being created or brought into the world of anime is being created right now because it is such a thriving market. And that's what happens when you get all these people interested. And make no mistake, people are paying attention to gaming because, like you said, it is the biggest entertainment medium in the world to this day. So it is definitely on the block. It's definitely always going to be on the docket. There's a ton of, like you said, money, data, and information here that everybody wants to be a part of. So I think we definitely don't have to worry about it falling to the wayside as long as we, the gamers, keep the pressure up, and I think that's important. And I don't
Facts.
think that we will fail in that. But yeah, with that, we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here, so everybody could get back to their Fourth of July. It's about to get dark here. I already know it's dark where Morgan's at, so they probably popping fireworks right now. But yeah, Will, as the guest, and thank you again for coming on, man. It was a blast. Like again, we brought you on because we know how passionate you are about this. So when Morgan mentioned it, I was like, yeah, absolutely. All right, and I already knew. Matter of fact, it was ironic when she brought it up. She was playing Elliot, and I was telling her it's funny she brought it up because you were live, literally talking about it already, like in the middle of the night at like 11:57 at night. You were live talking about it, so I was like, yeah, yeah, he wants to talk about this. So yeah, glad to have you, man. And go ahead and just shout out, let the people know where they can find you. And again, happy Fourth.
Yeah, no, thank you guys so much for having me. Sorry, making sure my mic was on. Thank you guys so much for having me. I had a blast tonight. You guys are amazing. I hope that you guys invite me again. I do know more than just physical, so please keep that in mind. But you can find me over at Will777JP, which is WILL 777JP. And yeah, come hang out with me. We'll open up some games, show you guys what sales are going on, how much I'm paying for these games, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm also keeping up to date with this physical media stuff. I honestly was bowing out. Like, if you guys go back to my first live, I was like, look, this is it. We failed. Digital's won or digital gamers won. Let's just whatever. And it wasn't until my community actually got on my ass and they said, "What the fuck are you talking about, dude? You have a platform. You got over 4,000 of us in here. You need to get on this shit." And they're the ones who got me back up on my pony. And I jumped in, started doing a whole bunch of research and just trying to educate myself. And, I'm not saying we're going to win or we're going to lose. but at least prepare yourself for whatever circumstance comes out. And you can definitely get more of that here on the Otter Podcast and over on my channel. So thank you guys.
Absolutely. Weeb, where can the people find you, sir?
You can still find me playing on PlayStation, but still fuck PlayStation. So, AutoNation.
He said, for the time being, until
For the
further
time being, yeah.
notice, you've now reached a recorded
Same.
message. No, absolutely. Viper, if you want to be found, where can the people find you, sir?
Yeah, I don't want to be found anymore. But no, after and listening to people on Twitter and it just there's degenerates out there, man. They make stuff bigger than now. This is a big issue, the physical stuff, but sometimes they make things bigger. They make it seem like a lot of the world is on fire. Man, fuck the president. All right, that's all I gotta say. Bye.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. Morgan, where can the people find you, ma'am?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as Weeb. He'll find me on PlayStation, unfortunately, for trying to finish Elliot and stuff, but it's still fuck PlayStation. Like we can't let up on their neck. Like this can't just be one time angry and let it go type shit. Like this is something that all gamers, regardless of whether you're a PlayStation fan, Nintendo fan, Xbox fan, whatever, gotta stand up to this because this is a ripple effect that'll just affect everyone in gaming. Whether you're a physical gamer or not, this will affect you. So please make your voice be heard. And whatever PlayStation says, when they finally decide to get back on social media, we definitely got to be there uh, to still kick them in their shins. Okay.
Absolutely.
Do not let your foot up off their neck at all. Um, but yeah, hopefully next week will be better news, but it probably won't because of the whole Xbox layoff situation. But I'm still trying to be hopeful with everything. Because like I tweeted earlier, gaming as far as games go is in such a good place right now with creativity, and
It
I'm
is.
playing more games than I have ever. But it's just the
Mhm.
policies around gaming are just so fucking trash right now. And just the greed within it by the suits that don't give a damn about the art. Um, but yeah, hopefully, hopefully we'll have some good news at least about this situation in the coming weeks. But yeah, Otter Nation.
Otter
AutoNation.
Nation. And Omar, where can the people find you, sir?
First of all, shout out to Will. He brought the heat. He brought that energy. Also, shout out to Morgan. Shout out to everyone that came through. And look, for the longest, we've been hearing people calling us, and I've been said to me, I said to Whip, to Morgan, to everyone here, we are Sony ponies. We accept everything.
In your case, that actually is true, Omar.
Okay, okay, okay. So yeah, no. If there is one thing you should take out of this episode is we call it how we see it because at the end of the day, we are the fucking consumers. We don't get anything out of following any company blindly, and this is literally what's being shown to us. But we already knew that. But yeah, no. Play your game. Just play your fucking game. There's way too many games to play. And it's just one last time. Shout out to Will. I mentioned just a request. Motherfucker just flat it in a 15-minute talk. Shout out to him.
Absolutely. And with that, I am your host, Innate, or the real Innate on Twitter and Blue Sky. Yeah, man. With that, like I said, I mean, everybody got to say their piece. Like I said, we definitely got on this, and like I said, the conversation is not over. But yeah, that doesn't mean at the same time we can't enjoy this hobby, and continue to enjoy this hobby in the great state of releases that we are getting. Still supporting those who are doing right by us out here and releasing some incredible titles. And like Will said, if you want to put up your protest, there are plenty of ways to do that. As mentioned earlier, I'm picking up a few physical titles myself as well. Um, this coming holiday. Not all of them, just because I ain't got that kind of space. If somebody want to hook me up with a 6-bedroom house, I ain't gonna say no. I will buy all the physicals till the end of time. I will dedicate the master bedroom to that joint. If you want to hand me a 6-bedroom house, I am not opposed. Preferably
yeah.
with 4.5
Just
bath.
build a fucking man cave and call it a day.
I mean,
Then you
pretty
will have
much.
a space.
Pretty much, preferably with a basement. I may or may not be prospecting the billionaires who happen to listen to this podcast. I'm just telling you, if you want to hook me up, I'm here. But but with that,
Hey,
man,
them
yeah,
physical games take a ton of space, man. For
they
real,
do.
like
They do. I got some collector's editions, man, that like the
Yep.
size of like a 34-inch monitor, bro. I'm like, bro, I don't know
They
what I'm supposed
absolutely
to do with
do.
this.
But it's worth it. Like, you got something you can look at.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I ain't never mad at it. The big mammoth from
Fuck
Horizon.
this at you for
Horizon.
having
Yeah,
that and not me
Hmm.
having that. I
yeah,
wanted it, but I low-key have no space for it.
yeah. I mean, it's huge. It's a talking point as soon as you walk into the house because we had nowhere else to put it.
Oh, yep.
So when people walk in, they're like, "What is that?" I'm like, "I know." So, yeah. I mean, we put it there for a reason. It scares the brakes off people when they walk in. Little Zulu looking warriors and stuff, and a big elephant. Like it's hilarious. But but yeah, man. Like I said, everybody else, man. Thank you for coming through. All the opinions of the chat, because y'all were super active today. The chat was on their ass today, and I appreciate it.
Everyone is angry.
Yeah,
As we should be.
absolutely. But yeah, with that, happy 4th of July to those of you that celebrate. And happy weekend to those of you that today makes no difference because you don't live here and you don't care. But yeah, otherwise, man, we're gonna get up out of here. Otter Nation.
Automation.
Otter Nation.